I don't know if you heard an echo there, but I had my YouTube on.
Out in the dark where the pixels bite, Sheriff Hawks rides deep into the night. Zombies moan and shadows crawl. He's laughing through the fear and shooting them all. Lock, load, and laugh at the fear. Grab your snacks, the sheriff's here. From spooky screams to outlaw talk. Welcome to the wild world of Sheriff Hawk.
Justice served. One jump scare at a time. Justice served.
One jump scare at a time.
There, I changed my picture for the scary top.
Well, I see we got a few people in here. Daniel Barry, welcome. And it looks like we have Awesome Epic Adventures. Hello, how you guys doing? Happy Sunday.
And that's Awesome Epic is the one that helped me write that song for you.
That was awesome. And
I gave him a couple tips on what you do for the channel or what you do in your channel, and he just kind of went nuts with it.
well, he is another good creator because that was excellent, and I appreciate that very, very much. In fact, I intend on using it. That's going to be in my new outro as soon as I'm done producing it. But I
Actually, if you send your outro to me, change the sound.
Oh shit, I can do that.
Yeah, that's easy.
I don't see why it wouldn't be. I'll have to copy and paste it and send it to you. I do a lot more than like it. I actually love it. I think it sounds awesomely cool. Well, what do you think? Should we get on to the subject of the day, or should I give my annual Sunday Reverend Hawks sermon first?
Now until everybody comes in, why don't we just do the Reverend Hawks for sure?
Yeah.
At first, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it is Sunday. Let me get into Reverend Hawks. Happy Sunday.
And I'm going to pop up, so he's going to try and come in again.
Secret lady showed up. You're just in time for the Reverend Hawks sermon there, secret lady, before we get into our conversation. And
conversation.
As you guys,
you want me to holler in the background or what?
Well, you can say things like amen and praise the bib. Because it says Bible.
Hallelujah.
No, it's hallelujah. Now you got to get that there right. Now you just sit back there in that right there choir there, and let the Reverend spew his magical sermon on to the people of the apocalypse.
Yeah, spew is a proper word for your term.
Now, you be polite there and stay there and that right there, choir, and color with that crayon I gave you.
It's cherry flavored.
And don't put the helmet on none neither. In today's sermon, we're going to talk about evil. Now, it is different in an apocalypse. So evil isn't exactly evil for those who don't know it. And, well, and I'm not a father because, well, that would mean that I'd be under some very strict guidelines and I'd have to eat crackers and drink wine. And I don't really care for wine. The crackers are good, though, especially in chili. But anyway, back to the sermon. If you have a Ouija board and you're in an apocalypse, it is perfectly okay to talk on the Ouija board. It's acceptable. And that would be because you need to find out who the zombies were. So that's the only time you get to use it. Now, as far as witchcraft, I don't care if you practice witchcraft during an apocalypse as long as you don't practice it on me or my other job, which is obviously a sheriff. And you can practice.
Or me.
Well, you can go ahead and practice it on the choir guy with the crayon just to see if it works. But you can't do any alterations. I don't want him growing no third hand or two noses or making his hair fall out. That just would not be nice.
A horn out of my forehead.
Oh, well, now you could do the horn in the forehead because it could scare the zombies away. That would help.
They would probably want to gnaw on my bone.
The only thing you can do for the sheriff is possibly alter him to where I could eat hay like a horse and be fed because food is very scarce in the apocalypse. That's why it's okay to take food from the neighbor. Eat his food before he eats it is what I always say. It's a good way to play. But having said all that, this sermon is over because there ain't no dang barbecue today. The choir guy just didn't bring the chicken or the pigeon like I told him to. That's why he's using that cherry-flavored crayon, and he's not allowed to wear his dang helmet today. Sermon's over. Get the hell out of my church. I need to go take a shower.
Now it's time for barbecue.
What barbecue? You forgot the meat.
Well, we got plenty of zombie meat.
Oh, you didn't wait for the zombie apocalypse? Well, guys, now that the sermon is over, the sheriff is here, and the Redneck Connection is here. We have a conversation for you today. This is going to require input from all of you. Here's a question for you. Have any one of you ever played with a Ouija board? Just come on, just be honest. When you were a kid.
In the chat, you can vote on that.
Yeah, but don't just vote on it. I want to know. Did you, as a child, play with a Ouija board?
Or as an adult? Maybe you still play with it now. Or what other things are you playing with as an adult? I'm not sure. I want to know that one.
Is that Salem? Is that what that name says?
Salem, yep.
How you doing, Salem? It used to be a cigarette brand. Is that still a cigarette brand nowadays?
South. I spent time in Collinwood, Tennessee. He's talking about you.
Oh, you mean my southern accent? I mean, they say I have one naturally anyway. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't really give it much thought.
But he's overacting to be the Reverend Hawks.
Well, yeah. I mean, I make it a lot more pronunciated. I don't know if, like, when I just normally talk, if I have a southern accent or not. Like I said, I don't really give it a lot of thought. I just talk. So maybe I do, maybe I don't. I reckon the audience could tell me whether or not I have a southern accent when I'm just speaking like I am now, or whether I don't. Let's ask Salem. He did pick up on the southern accent that I used for my characters. Where the fuck? Ripped off. What? Hey, don't you start on me, bored old fart. I can imitate you too. Good day, mate. See? I can.
Shrimp on the Barbie.
Yeah. Put another shrimp on the Barbie. I think you'd need a few more shrimp, though. I've always had a problem with that saying, shrimp small. Why would you just want one piece of shrimp unless you were really on a diet?
They don't have shrimp over there. They have prawns.
Yeah, but it's still shrimp. Same damn thing.
No, they're a lot bigger.
Not as a child. You played now and then at home. At a cemetery. Oh, wow. Interesting. And a lake where someone drowned. It really happened. Creepy. But here's a question. When you played with it, did you feel as though you were actually talking to a spirit?
He said nothing happened, so
Nothing happened. So you didn't, you didn't get any weird feeling, maybe like,
I got a tingly feeling in my loins. And I wasn't even playing Ouija board.
well, now that doesn't count, Ken. That's just because you was, probably looking at their home movies that, Jesse did. Let's see. Yeah. King prawns have
6-inch tail.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, they're quite a bit larger than shrimp.
I know here, I think the biggest you can get is a jumbo shrimp, but I'm sure if I looked hard enough, I could probably find prawns. Let's see. Spent hours. Left weird.
Yeah, wait for it to catch up, and then you can read it off the screen.
Okay.
But it says spent hours. Where the hell did it go? Spent hours trying. Guess it felt weird, but
Blanchett never moved. Anyone else ever play with a Ouija board? It doesn't matter if you did it when you were a child, if you did it as an adult, maybe even a teenager, but did any of you ever, play with a Ouija board to try to talk to spirits? Because there's a lot of history with the Ouija board, and here's a fact you may not know. They didn't call it a Ouija board, but ancient Romans actually used what we now call today a Ouija board. Most people don't know this. So the Ouija board has like a very, very interesting past. Well, that's Nightbot. So we do have, I think that was Epic Awesome Adventures that played with a Ouija board. Anybody else here play with a Ouija board? Also, guys, if you could like and share the live stream, I'd like to get more people in here. And if they come in, let's hear their stories too. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, but, let's find out. So we have one that did, in fact, play with a Ouija board. Anybody else? What about you, Boof? Or you, Secret Lady? Did you, by chance, play with a Ouija board any time in your life? I don't care if you were 5, 10, 20. Made by Hasbro. You can get one now to talk to God as advertised. Yeah, they're still out. And we're going to get into the history of it. But first, I want to get into if any other people actually ever used one. Give me 10 minutes to turn chicken on because you also have a Ouija board. You use a Ouija board to... Oh, still today. Okay, so let's wait on her. She uses... Oh, I love barbecue chicken, too. I might want some of that there, Salem. I think the missus is supposed to make tacos tonight. You heard of Taco
Yes.
Tuesday. Around here, it's Taco Sunday.
Right.
So we'll give Salem a minute because I want to hear this story, whether or not, because if this person uses it even to this day, maybe they are in contact with somebody. It has such a
Or something.
yeah, it has a legendary thing. What about you, Ken? Have you ever you ever dabble, maybe, play with a Ouija board?
I did for a little bit, but it freaked me out so much I just left the room.
Okay, well, why did it freak you out?
And I broke the rules because you're not supposed to break the circle or some shit, and I just said, fuck you, I'm out, and left.
But what made you say, fuck you, you're out, and leave? I mean, come on, you're playing with a Ouija board, right?
There was nothing happening, but I was just freaked out about it. I don't know.
So it was more
Kind of like
something in your mind.
Yeah, psychological, basically.
See, and we talked about that last week on Sunday, that sometimes like you build yourself up in your own head that you're afraid of it before you even start. Especially if you have any type of superstition you're related to it.
Right.
And with Ouija boards, because of all
Or belief.
well, yeah, all the movies they made. I mean, come on, that's got to scare people at some point, right?
Right. But it may not just be superstition. It may be something they believe too.
Yep. And there's the question. Is it? I mean, is it by chance that some people have a connection and when they use the Ouija board, it works? Or is it all in their mind? Like, maybe they want it to work. How many cases have we seen where people actually think you're moving the Ouija board? The Ouija board was actually originally native man prodigies used to stand when they were in tall grass. Well, the actual original Ouija board wasn't even called a Ouija board, but we're actually talking about the one that talks to spirits. There may have been another name for it used by a tribe. But the ancient Romans had a stone tablet they would use. Today, if we saw it, we'd call it a Ouija board. However, that is not what they called it.
I believe Ouija is just a made-up word too, isn't it?
Yeah, well, actually, I believe it's the name of a woman. Oh, the Fagawi Indians. There was a joke about them, Buff. I'm going to tell you this joke real quick before we get back on the Ouija board.
I think that's what he's referring to.
Yeah. The Fagawi. Yeah, he's joking. The Fagawi Indians. Yeah. These two.
Where the Fagawi?
Yeah. Yeah. These two Indians were like walking, or not two Indians, but these two white men were walking through the woods and they were writing down the different tribes, And they were talking about the Apache and, of course, the Cherokee and the Navajo. And the other short bearded man says, "You're forgetting one." He says, No, I've got all the tribes. I know them. I got them all. And he says, No, you don't. You forgot about the Fagawi Indians. Well, I never heard of them. Never even seen them on the ground. He says, No. You got to look up in the trees. The Fagawi Indians are always in the tree. Well, that's a weird name. Why do they call the Fagawi Indians? Well, because they go up the trees. You always hear them say, "Where the fuck are we? Where the fuck are we?" Suddenly, a black cat appeared. Wait a minute. What is this? Father told me once that him and his mates were staying in a cabin in the woods. They were doing Ouija. All windows and doors are closed. Suddenly, a black cat appeared, jumped across the table, and vanished. Now, that would be freaky. But let me ask you, awesome epic adventures, do you think that was a story that he was telling to scare you, or did it really happen? I mean, which one do you think? Don't think he got I'll see sarcasm before I got it, but I was just a little late getting it. But yeah, I figured it out when I kept seeing the name. I'm like, the the Fagawi Indians. We used to tell that joke a long time ago. But what do you think? They're awesome adventures. I mean, do you think he was trying to scare you, or do you think this is something that really happened to him? Still waiting on Salem to get back. I want to hear that story because Salem still uses it to this day. Now, while we're waiting, I have used a Ouija board when I was a child. Me and my two sisters. We did that. And honestly, we were moving it. But, probably he never touches. He never touched one again since and always warned me never to touch them. Now, that could be. So basically, that is something that literally could have happened. There have been many stories that sound plausible. There's been many that don't. In my experience, and keep in mind, guys, this is only my experience, okay? We were moving it. We were children, and we kind of, in an effort to scare each other. It wasn't very fun very long. My mother had one, and so we decided to, play with it and try to scare each other. And after about 10 minutes, I guess you could say we broke the rules of the Ouija. You're not supposed to break the circle, and you have to say goodbye. Well, we didn't. Yeah, I don't think we ever really had a circle, and we certainly did.
Still haven't said goodbye.
Yeah. But we never said goodbye at all. It was more a case of, okay, this is boring. Let's go outside. But in my experience, nothing came of it. Nothing happened to it. There wasn't no weird presence in the house or anything to that effect. Actually, it didn't faze us at all, it just didn't. So my experience is kind of really a boring tale of just 4 kids that was, bored, decided to try to scare each other, and that's all that came of it. Nothing else. Yeah, I've never heard it where it was the short people in tall grass. That's because we don't really have a lot of tall grass here unless you move to the plains. But and we don't really.
I heard it different because I'm from the Black Hills. They went to the top of the mountain and said, "Where the fuck are we?"
Yeah, ours was different. Here was they climbed a tree, always trying to look around, going, "Where the fuck are we?" So yeah. Not a great gamer. Call me on the. I can't make that out. Call me Asian anytime. Well, what about you, not a great gamer? Have you ever played with a Ouija board? We're still waiting on Salem to come back and let us know whether or not they played with a Ouija. Well, actually, Salem said that they still play with one to this day. But what about you, not a great gamer? Have you ever played with a Ouija board, even as a kid, teenager? Have you ever played with one? What about you, Boof? Have you ever played with one? You used to mess around with a Ouija board in your early years. So wait a minute. Put up Bored Old Farts there. So he used to play with one. But one of our mates kept moving the puck around. You would have smacked if I hadn't drawn. Oh, okay. I got you.
If he hadn't drawn 4 months earlier. What the fuck? That's sarcasm, too.
Yeah, I know. So he's never really played with one. Good
day, Mr. Asian Fried Rice.
Asian fried rice. Hey, don't knock Asian fried rice. I actually eat that. I do, especially chicken or pork fried rice. But that's a stream for another day when we talk about the weird foods that we as people eat. Buff should be a rising star in that because he's from Australia and they eat some shit we just don't eat here.
So is Awesome Epic.
Oh yeah, oh awesome! I didn't know you were from there, but I know they eat food that we look at. Like to us, a kangaroo is like something you see in a zoo. To them, it's dinner. So
Oh, kangaroo is good.
I've never had it.
Awesome
Yeah,
Epic
he
sent me
has
some.
played with one. It's full of crap. I can't argue whether it is or isn't full of crap because I don't have any experience to go on other than the 10 minutes when I was a kid. That's all it was. It was a case of it was fun. We didn't really get scared. We got bored. So we went and did something else. But the history of the Ouija board, that's kind of what we're talking about. Is it's weird history. And let's talk about the history of the Ouija board for a moment. You guys give me your opinion on this. If the ancient Romans used it, we'll start there because that's the earliest part of a Ouija board that wasn't even called a Ouija board. That's literally what it was. But that's the earliest point in time where it was actually used. So, one, where'd they even get the idea? You know what I mean? I mean, if ancient Rome literally came up with an idea of talking to spirits, and that's literally what it was for, right? Where'd they get the idea? And their whole community or their whole civilization, they literally believed that you could talk to spirits using this stone board. And it wasn't like just used by a few, it was used by many. Mostly people who's, had sons or brothers that literally died in combat. Much to unpopular belief, Roman soldiers were not allowed to get married. So you can't say it was the wife. All right. They were not allowed to get married. So they didn't have wives. That don't mean they didn't have brothers or, dads or moms. But a lot of them died in combat. Other people died for various reasons, given, the times. But if there was nothing to it, then what made a whole group of people literally decide that this was a way to talk to people that have passed away or died?
Well, same thing as like some people pray, some people write notes and then burn it over a candle.
Oh yeah, they do. That's true.
So it's the same type of thing. It's just a different way of doing it.
Yeah, that's very true too. And we'll get into witchcraft a little later, throughout the stream. But technically, witchcraft started as a religion. Most people don't know that. But right now, we're on a Ouija board. Does anybody have any thought as to why the Romans would believe that this Ouija board was actually working? Like, does that convince you that the Ouija board may have, some truth to it? Or does it still kind of make you think, nah, don't? I once was penetrated. The story left me with walking like a. I think you got that from a movie with the Wayans brothers, but ain't that right? They're not a great gamer. Great movie, by the way, both 1 and 2. Are those the same people who seriously believed that hard narcotics were healthy medications? Well, yeah, but that didn't just go.
Americans.
Yeah, that didn't just go on in the Roman Empire. I mean, hell yeah, that still goes on to this day. just look at some of the medicines that you see advertised, and they give you the side effects, and it says may even cause death. Ask your doctor about it. And it kind of makes you wonder how many people see or hear the side effects and go, I'm willing to risk it. I'm going to have to call my doctor and ask about this right here. I know it could kill me. I know that's a possibility, but I'm going to risk it.
Well, actually, all of my medicines have a risk of death.
Yeah. But I mean, did you ask your doctor about them, or did your doctor tell you about them? Because when I was growing up, you didn't ask your doctor about any drug. Okay.
Everything's on the damn TV, though. As far
Yeah.
as advertisements, yeah, stupid. But no, I never went to the doctor and said, "Can I have some diabetic pills?" Nope, not even once.
So, how many people in this chat knew that the Ouija board has not been sold once, but 3 different times? Now, here is good. This is going to make people believe the Ouija board isn't real. But I want you to keep in mind, I'm not saying the Ouija board isn't real. What I'm saying is the history of it definitely comes into question.
Yeah.
After World War II,
It was
it was,
made as a board game
yeah,
in America.
yes, it was. It was made as a board game.
Or anything. It was just supposed to be a game.
And after World War II, it was advertised as a way to talk to dead soldiers that you were related to. And it went over well. I mean, this board game was so popular back in that time frame, you could not keep it on the shelf. I'm going to mute my mic for a second because I need a quick restroom break.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess Nick Jones couldn't figure out how to get up here. I never saw him in the chat at all, but he was texting me private saying he wanted a link.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, yeah.
But no, the sales were like, they were in record after World War II. Then the sales dropped off. Now, here's what's mysterious.
I thought there was something similar to that in the Civil, or not, yeah.
Yeah, there was. But it hadn't been copyrighted yet, and it certainly wasn't even called a Ouija board. See, there's the other mystery, too. It's not that the idea. Yeah. In the Civil War, it didn't really have a name.
It was called a witch board.
Yeah, a witch board. It was called many things. But we're getting into the Ouija board itself because, well, yeah, the Ouija board seemed to make a quick name for itself, and then it died off. When it died off because a story was released about, I think it was in the 60s, literally, or late 50s, that literally described how it got its name, which was actually one of the guy's girlfriends. So the board's basically named after a girl. Yes, it was basically a moneymaker for widows and brothers and sisters and moms and dads. It really didn't have one target. It just had if you had a family member that has passed, you now had a way to speak to them. That was the kind of the whole gimmick. The rules changed, though. If you look at the original Ouija board that came out after the war, it really didn't have you have to say goodbye. It did have a circle. It did say don't break the circle. But there was no rule that said that you had to say goodbye. Then it was sold, okay? Now, this is where it gets even stranger. When it was sold, there really wasn't a lot of money in it. I mean, consider, who bought it. It really didn't make a difference. It was still a board game. But in 1973, a movie came out, The Exorcist. And The victim in this case, Reagan, was talking to Captain Howdy on a what again? Ouija board.
Yep. Captain Howdy.
Yeah. Now that movie was so far ahead of its time.
Oh, you ain't shitting. It still scares the shit out of
Yeah,
some people.
well made. I mean, the graphics on it were, I mean, for 70s, I don't think there was another one that could match The Exorcism as far as scaring the shit out of you on screen.
A lot of people tried.
So now this is where it became known as the Devil's Board. Why? Well, The Exorcist. That movie literally helped promote the Ouija board, part of the story. Now,
Yep.
and even when they said based on a true story, what did they say in the true story? That his aunt was playing with a Ouija board, because the actual victim of the exorcism was actually a boy. But again,
Yep.
the Ouija board was in the story. Ouija board sales again went through the roof. For some strange reason, this is how weird people are, right? Because in the movie, you literally got hold of a demon. So now,
Let's try it.
yeah, apparently it works. So people wanted to get a hold of a demon. It was
Yeah,
then,
and there were even people trying to get a hold of Mr. Howdy.
yeah. Then it was sold again for its last time and still owned by the same company. But here's what people don't know. That company invested money in a series of movies better known as Ouija board, Witch board. There's just a shit ton of these movies.
Yeah, a lot of rated B movies.
Movie depicting the medium Ouija board called, yeah, but Jumanji wasn't exactly that, you smart ass. Ouija boards. Maybe
They
a
actually
red
have
and blue
Ouija
one.
boards in different what do you call it? I want to call it a genre. But for like what's the name of that one? The haunted hotel that Stephen King went to
Oh,
and
The
based his
Shining.
movie on. Okay. There's a Shining Ouija board now. There is all kinds of different movie boards.
Oh yeah, if you look at all the designs, they come in stone, wood. Your typical, what is it, $10-15 board game that you can buy in most stores.
Yeah, cardboard.
Yeah, and
And then you can buy really expensive ones. If you got money, you can buy really expensive shit.
oh yeah. So after that, sales began to drop. So now, if nobody noticed, every ghost hunting show you see, almost every one of them now include a what? A Ouija board. So it kind of has a history of popping back up in culture
Yep.
to literally push its sale. But what I'm after is anyone that had an experience with a Ouija board that indicates maybe there is something to it. Maybe there's not. In my experience, none. Obviously, Ken was, I think in your case, I think you were afraid of it before you ever touched the damn thing.
Yeah, and I was. And I just wanted no part of it because I was brought up in a house where you don't play with that and you don't talk to ghosts and you don't do this and you don't do that.
Well, witchcraft went way beyond religion there, Buff, and it's okay, even to me, in some cases, to discuss religion as long as it's discussed in a matter of this is what I believe, this is why, without the hateful rendition of, well, you're this and you're that. You can't have that. 19 depicting the modern Ouija board called Jumanji. No, it wasn't the modern Ouija board. That was just a game that was actually a Robin Williams classic, and then went on to be a Dwayne Johnson magic. I'm not
And
sure
there's
which one I
another one.
like the most. Maybe it was the original. I think was still better.
But this is what I was commenting on about the different kinds of boards that you can actually get. You can go on Amazon and find shit that, or not Amazon. What's the other one? Um, Whatever places online where you can buy shit.
Yeah.
It's amazing the different kinds of Ouija boards you can get. And you can even get one called the Devil Worshippers Ouija board.
You have a chopping board that smells like onions. Does that count as a Ouija board? No.
Close.
It counts as making a spicy dinner.
Not spicy conversation.
Right. But who came up with the rule of burn the Ouija board? If you ever read the history of it, this didn't pop up until ghost hunting shows.
What, burning the board?
Yeah.
Oh, that's with anything that is suspected to be haunted. You're supposed to spray it with holy water and then burn it.
Yeah.
So ghost hunters, well, the fake ghost hunters, they overplay it like a movie.
Oh, of course they do. How many of you in the audience? Well, I know Aussies are full of shit, but that's okay because the whole world is full of shit. They're awesome. We all do things that are full of shit, and Buff is awesome. He's funny as hell. That's one of the key reasons I like him. You never know what he's going to say, but it's fucking hilarious when he does. Mine wouldn't burn. Had to throw it out. What do you mean yours wouldn't burn? So what kind did you have? That it wouldn't burn there. Awesome, Epic. I mean, why wouldn't it burn? You had to throw it out. I mean, did you have a wooden one? Did you have a stone one? I mean, why would it not burn? Yeah, I disagree with that one, Buffy. I think the whole world's just a little bit full of shit based on educational level and
And
seriousness.
we learned it all from Aussies.
Oh, sure. I sure got you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, come on. Come on, awesome. Why wouldn't it burn? Was that the joke, or was you commenting there on what Buff said?
A wooden one, it was thick, just wouldn't catch. You didn't have enough lighter fluid.
That's interesting because there are literally horror stories that literally describe boards that would not burn. So that's actually interesting that you say that because no, that's actually even there was a story once that somebody tried to burn even a cardboard one would not catch fire.
Yeah. It would burn around it, but wouldn't actually catch fire itself.
Yeah.
And threw it onto logs that were burning.
Yep. And it just would not burn. Now there's been other stories where flames have appeared on it and then didn't burn the board. That would have to be paranormal if it just, showed up. Well, I don't do any butt kissing. That's a shitty place to put your lips, in my opinion.
I read that wrong at first. I read bored old fart attacks hawks.
Oh. Wait a minute. What did he say? Edges singed, but stayed intact. Now that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
We're still waiting on Salem of Salem Returns.
Yeah. We're back up to 4 people. We were down to 2 for a minute there.
I wish more people would come in. I would like to hear their stories if they have any. It helps get a little closer to based on people's experience. I mean, they do have an effect on people. Take you, Ken. It definitely had an effect on you, right? If you
And I
had,
think that was just because of what I was taught growing up. So
yeah, and that's the other question. What happened? Why was there sudden? If you go back to the after the war, churches really did not intervene in these boards, right? Now, after The Exorcist, the churches definitely got involved. They was evil. You shouldn't use them.
yeah,
And you look at frivolous lawsuits. That the most I could ever find was two. And here's irony for you: neither one of them won. Basically, it was a tossed out case. Now, we do know that Ouija boards were used in the mid 70s all the way up to even in some cases today, where fortune tellers will attempt to use them to get your fortune, which I don't believe in. I'm not going to lie. I don't believe in that at all. To me, that's just somebody going, give me your money and I will tell you more lies.
how about if they didn't charge you? Would you believe them then?
I would have questions.
I would like to see a psychic actually in action and not charge me money.
That would be interesting to see one do it. And
And see how close they can get to shit, you know?
well, if you notice one thing about psychics, if you go back to the ones on TV, that's the one thing they don't use. Like the ones that tell you, like, I can sense this ghost. This ghost is over here, right? They don't use Ouija boards at all. They go by their sensory projection or however you want to put it. Then you have other people, right, that they don't really use them. But then you have the ones that'll use it to go, okay, I'm going to use a crystal ball. And then, of course, some of them will use the Ouija board because to them, somehow they believe that a spirit can tell you your fortune, right?
Yeah, I never understood that, but sure.
And they do. This is the weird history of the Ouija board. And if you ever wanted to.
That's the same thing with even back then when there was fortune tellers and all that, you know, they believe that they can talk to spirits and shit too. And I'm talking the ones that truly believe, not the ones that are there just to make a buck.
Yeah.
They believe they can actually talk to spirits and get fortunes and tell you when you're going to die and how you're going to die. And
yeah, you still have that going on to this day. It's just not as popular as it used to be because now the Ouija board has a reputation of if you don't follow the rules, you can let something through. It can destroy your life. In fact, if you watch a lot of these, you ever see them shows on TV, Haunted, My Haunted House?
No.
If you ever watch them.
I've seen clips on YouTube and
yeah,
I just roll my eyes. So
yeah, a lot of them are literally, I guess in one episode, they found a pentagram on the floor. Teenagers lived there before. They were using the Ouija board to, invoke spirits and demons. And then suddenly their house is haunted, right? And this makes for an entire 45-minute episode after you remove commercials. So it makes for a whole 45-minute episode. But to me, now I could be wrong, guys, but to me, it's more equivalent of like telling a ghost story. Like at a camp, you're sitting at a fire.
They're bored old for it.
Spirits tell you my future quite often. Every time I partake in excess, I feel like shit the next day.
Wrong kind of spirits. We're not talking about drinking spirits. We're talking about spirits as in ghosts.
Yeah, that can allegedly, literally talk to you through a Ouija board, or in some cases, and I call it a digital Ouija board because there's stories about this now too. almost every smartphone has, and you can literally download this app, right? And it's basically a Ouija board on your phone.
There's several apps you can get for that. It's just
Yeah.
bullshit.
And then there are stories that thing works too.
Yeah, you want to know how they work? They listen to your conversation around you and then say words that was in your conversation, or listen to your questions and answer it how it thinks you want it. In other words, is there anybody here? Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
I
because
can
to
be a
me,
Ouija board. If you just ask me questions, I'll answer them for you, and I'll be your human Ouija board.
but here's my question to that. This is what really confuses me when it comes to the Ouija board. If after the 70s it became an evil thing, why wouldn't it have made sales drop? But rather, it did the opposite. It made everybody want one. I mean, it skyrocketed Ouija board sales literally through the roof.
Same thing as roller coasters.
Yeah.
You're on the edge of death, but you're not actually going to die. That's what they want.
But you would have thought, like, how would you put this? If you had any religion at all, that would be the one thing you would stay away from based on the reputation that it has. It wouldn't like convince you to go grab a Ouija board. It would convince you the opposite. That's what happened to you, I think. I mean, you had a certain set of beliefs, right?
Yeah. And now, my way of thinking is, do I actually believe that, or is that just what I was taught growing up? I go through life like that now.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing like when we were talking last week about ghosts. You could live your whole life, and I'm assuming this happens to people, and you could say, well, my auntie told me a ghost story, and she swears it's true. And then for a brief period of time, maybe even your whole life, you think, yeah, she was fucking nuts, right? She's just making the shit up. But what happens?
Right. Well, or not nuts, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, but
maybe it was just a scary story,
Yeah. But what happens if one day you inadvertently see a ghost? See, now you have to go back and go, well, maybe she wasn't crazy. Maybe she was telling the truth, unless you're going to convince yourself that you didn't see what you think you saw, right?
Sure.
No, that would have to be the case. Like in your case, have you ever seen a ghost, Ken?
Hey, Kathy Bates.
Hey, Kathy.
Hey, Jags.
Have you ever actually seen one, in your opinion?
In my opinion, what? Did I ever see what?
Actually see a ghost. Welcome, Jags. How you doing? Have you ever actually physically in your mind saw or seen a ghost?
I think I did, yeah.
Okay, but before that,
twice.
Let's go back.
Actually, several times.
But let's go back before you ever saw one. Did you believe in them then?
I don't know. I was never told about them, I guess.
Okay.
But I saw that up in the attic, and I come down scared out of my mind and told the staff what I saw. And they said, you probably saw the ghost of, I don't remember what the hell his name was. But these were old farmhouses where the owners died, and Bar None Boys Ranch bought them up.
Awesome. Well, what about you, Jags, since you're here? What's your feeling on, have you ever played with a Ouija board, Jags? This is a, yes or no, right? Throughout your life, have you ever played with a Ouija board?
Kathy Bates, too. Have you ever played with
Kathy.
a Ouija board?
What about you? Have you ever played with one? Kind of waiting on answers here.
And I wanted to find that poll. I can't seem to find it now.
But that's the question. This is not a. It's not a conversation of judgment. And look, I played with a Ouija board when I was a kid. The question is, have you ever actually played with one? Considering that their popularity goes up and down. Yes, you did. When you was a little girl, did anything happen, or did you believe something happened, Kathy, when you used the Ouija board? When I did it when I was a kid too, and we were moving it, trying to scare each other. I think it lasted a whole 10 minutes, and then it was, yeah, we're bored with this. We'll do something else. But that's not the same that you get from everyone else. So, what was your experience when you played with a Ouija board? Did you think there was something to it, or did you get bored with it? Like, there's all kinds of stories. They catch fire, they won't burn. You throw them away, they come back.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, you talk on them, and then then your house is now haunted when it wasn't before. There's so many stories pertaining to the Ouija board. It always becomes you didn't believe in it, and you still don't believe in it. So in your case, it would have been you were a kid, you're playing with it, and much like me, nothing happened. I mean, literally nothing happened. After 10 minutes, we were so bored with it, we went outside, and I still remember it because my mother was just dead set that the thing worked, and all four of us, meaning her offspring, kind of looked at it like it didn't do nothing for us. We couldn't even scare each other with it. So, I think my mother.
Ouija board.
Yeah, I think my mother still has the damn thing, probably up in her attic. She hasn't touched it in years, but a boomerang Ouija board, that'd be about right. Awesome. Make the song like you toss it out and then there it goes. Do what? I'm still waiting on Jags, unless he's not in here anymore. We'll find out whether or not he's ever actually played with a Ouija board. It's a fair question, I did. Obviously, you did too, Ken. Monique, welcome. Monique, while you're here, we'll ask you the same question. Have you ever...
Hey, Monique.
Yeah, go ahead, Ken.
I just said hi to her.
Oh. Have you ever played...
Did you see what Not a Great Gamer said?
He breaker flipping... What?
I did once try a Ouija board and have to say I wasn't a fan of the taste.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're going to try to eat it, no breaker flipping question. I can't see that. No breaker flipping to at least add to it.
I don't know what he means by that.
Yeah, I don't either. You never have, so you've never played with a Ouija board, but I'm sure you all have heard the stories, right? That comes with the Ouija board. So anybody have a bad experience with a Ouija board? Or is everybody's like the same as mine? And again, we won't count yours because I think in your case, you were afraid of it before you ever put your hands on it.
I never actually touched it. We all joined hands, and then we were supposed to put our hand in the middle, and I went, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, so you had a fear of it. You just put some cheese on top of it. What? Put some cheese on top of it. Okay. You had a bad
On top of the Ouija board, you didn't like the taste. Cheese makes everything taste better.
as you said, yes. Let's see. Parents flipping the breakers while kids playing with it. Oh, well, yeah, I would think they would do that to scare the kids. You've never played with one. Just didn't touch it. I did, for those, that didn't hear this before. Yeah, I have played with a Ouija board. I just got bored with it in 10 minutes and I never had any bad experience. I didn't have any pre-fear of it. I think in a lot of cases, I think people are actually afraid of it before they actually touch it. And I think it's, because of all the stuff on television, the ghost stories that you hear, even on television, ghost hunters that always use them.
Movies, YouTube now.
Yeah.
So.
Not a great gamer. Hawks is allergic to onions. Yeah, I'm very allergic to them. I like them. When I was a kid, I kept getting sick every time I'd eat dinner. It took them forever to figure out why, and it turned out it was actually onions. But I like them, if that makes any sense. But, that is what it is. So before we move on to Witchcraft, you never played with one, was one of those things but why didn't you touch it, Jags? Just out of curiosity. Was it like a religious belief, maybe, I think that becomes a lot with a Ouija board because the churches went on a rampage of don't use it. So I actually believe that a lot of religious people probably would have been pulled away from it, in my opinion. You know what I mean? That would have been a don't use it kind of thing. So you had to carry bloody thing to its woods, abandoned cemetery at 3 a.m. Sat around it for a while. Only thing scary was a random crow made you jump. Yeah, I could see that. That would make sense.
Random cow started mooing, made us jump.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, like when you get into the scary parts of life, right? I think you psych yourself out. Here's my theory. If I go into a house and I say, I'm looking for ghosts, right? So my mind's already made up that I'm looking for something. And that kind of means that if I hear anything, like even a creaky floor, right? I'm going to automatically think it's a ghost. It isn't. But because I'm so psyched up, I'm automatically going to think that it is. Yes, that was a good episode earlier, Jags, and I definitely enjoyed the show. If you guys are confused, a lot of religions don't allow. That's true. Especially after 1973 and The Exorcist, they definitely didn't allow it.
And if it's not because of The Exorcist, it's pretty convenient that it was exactly the same time.
Yeah. So see, that leads into other questions. And again, I never discuss religion, but I think religion is also tied to a Ouija board. And here's why. If you go back to the ancient Romans, there was no, and they had religion, obviously not the same as now, right? But even when they switched and they went from what would you call them? I would say your Greek gods because they kind of stole them, right? Even when they switched to Christianity or Catholicism, there was nothing against the Ouija board. If you go back to World War II, at the end of it, when Ouija boards were popular as hell, not a single church said a word about it. Now, for some strange reason, after 1973, churches got involved. And then, yeah, some of them just said, no, you can't do it. And if you do, you're risking a demon or whatever the case may be. In fact, I think it went so far as a lot of people claiming to need an exorcism in their house due to a Ouija board.
Yep.
Now, here's a serious question for all of you. Does anyone in this chat believe that a Ouija board literally did cause a haunting, or do you think they've never caused one? If you had your own opinion, and we all do, yeah, it's still, you don't steal most of the horror movies. I love horror movies. As a Catholic, I'll state right now that if somebody's got one of these out in church and started using it, I'd lose my shit. Plus, God knows what the priest would do to their kids. I don't know. We're not going to get into that one, although I do understand what you're saying. I, like everyone else, I do watch the news. I think it could be. So you think part of it could be real, Monique? It's possible. See, that's the whole thing.
Well, just like anything, it depends on how you're using it.
Yeah, that's a
Anything is possible to be true. I mean, I could dig out a piece of paper and draw a bunch of lines on it and tell you that it's a haunted game. Let's try and contact a ghost. But then you got somebody that's into Satanism or something, and they use it completely different.
That's true. So let's say you're using it as a Satanist. Does that make the board more amped to work, based on the way you use it? So let's say you just want to talk to your aunt, right? She passed away a year ago. And maybe nothing happens, right? But now you're trying to contact a demon. Does that up the chances of the board working in anybody's opinion? Like, do you think maybe the way you use it determines what happens?
I don't know.
Well, what about you?
That's hard to say, I mean, I don't want to say no because the possibility could be true, but
yeah, but there's always a possibility. But let's take you for example, right? You didn't even touch it, right? You put your hands on a circle. You're looking at the Ouija board. You haven't touched it, and you're already afraid of it. So it had to be something in your teaching that when you saw that thing, right? You know what you're fixing to do. Obviously got into your psyche and said, no, I don't want to do this.
Right. Yeah, it instantly gave me fear. And then I was made fun of for a week in school, too, because I wouldn't even try it.
You just contacted my mother on the Ouija board. She said PayPal. Well, that wouldn't do me any good here. I do not have a tip line here, although Ken does.
Right here. Right
yeah,
here.
And if you guys want to support Ken.
That's his mother. That's his mother. You gotta hit up my PayPal. Condom for the Argentina.
Well, I ain't got an answer from anybody. Does anybody believe that some of these stories concerning a Ouija board could be true? Or do you in turn think they're all fake?
Well, okay. It's kind of like, how do I say this? Folklore, I guess is how to say that.
Yeah.
It comes from somewhere.
That's true.
So
I agree, but here there's one difficult position when it comes to if you go back to the ancient world and the use of spirit boards or Ouija, whatever you want to call it. There really is no stories in ancient Rome of any type of haunting or whether or not they actually even made contact with anybody, right? They really didn't write any story. It was used, but they have no stories of possession. They have no stories of ghost. They don't have any of that. None. And I'm not to say it's not to say that it didn't happen. It is to say if it did happen, they made it a point not to record it. They didn't want people to know. So historically speaking, we can't say whether anything actually happened. Not the same on our next subject, which is witchcraft. Oh, there's a lot of history there.
And churches have turned all witchcraft into something evil.
Yes, but it didn't start out as evil at all. It actually had to do with the celebration of Earth more than anything, or connection
It
to
depends
the Earth.
on which type of witchcraft you're talking about. Hey, Alexis.
Well, before we get into
Your
witchcraft,
daughter's here.
I am going to take one more pause for the cause. That'd be my bladder, y'all.
Depends time. I believe in karma. What you give is what you get. Returned, I believe you can't appreciate real love till you've been burned. I believe the grass is no more greener on the other side. True. You don't know what you got until you say goodbye. That's true with both somebody leaving and death. I've had it both ways. I'm sorry you've had a pepper shoved up your ass, gamer.
I just read that one. Wow. So the reason I say witchcraft was attached to religion is because religion automatically deemed witchcraft as a conversation or powers obtained from the devil. But
Moni says she was chewed out for watching Harry Potter movie years ago, and she thinks it was the Goblin of Fire movie.
but why would you be chewed out for? I mean, that's a movie. I mean, everything.
Witchcraft. You're not supposed to watch that.
Ah,
That was like that in my family too.
so your family,
Now-
yours was the same way?
Yep.
I had a patient who thought she was a witch. But how do you know she thought she was a witch or whether or not she actually was? And what is the actual definition of a witch? Let's get rid of the idea that a witch is simply getting a power from the devil. Let's remove that for a moment.
Some believe that.
Oh, most did. I mean, they were pursued, hunted, and even executed.
No. Not all witches believe that, though.
No. But we're not talking about just witches, though. We're talking about the effect it had on the people surrounding them. Because the people surrounding them definitely thought.
But you were talking about witchcraft. There's two different styles.
And yeah, there is. But even if you practiced the other form of witchcraft, you would have still been executed.
Yep. Or even if they said you were.
Oh, yeah. Just the accusation
A lot
alone.
of people were executed even if they weren't witches.
Like, where did the idea of witches talking to the devil even come from? Because in some cases, when you were accused of being a witch, it could be simply because you knew that a root would actually help cure an illness. And they considered that in the ancient world to be witchcraft. Oh, how did you know this? How did you?
Or it could actually just, back then it was just, I'm mad at my wife. She's a witch.
Yeah. But it went deeper than that. It literally went into well, she was able to cure him, which to me, even in those times, somebody should have said, well, that's good. How did you do it? But they didn't. It was just the opposite. It was more a case of, well, they should have died And now they're linked to the devil because you use witchcraft to save their life, which was total,
Yep.
backwards thinking. And think if we still did that today, right? And let's say Ken found a plant and
Some people still do.
yeah, and he used it, and let's say it, it magically cured cancer. So now Ken gets hold of somebody. If he had done that, say, a couple of thousand years ago, they would have killed him. That would have been witchcraft.
Now the difference is the government will kill you.
Oh yeah, they'll kill you and take it from you because they don't want you to, that, or they'll give you.
They don't want anybody to have the cure for cancer because they want
Big
pharma to
keep treating it but not cure it. In today's modern world, we're not looking for the cure.
Witchcraft derives magic from nature and its natural energies. Yes, but they called it all the same thing back in the day.
Yeah, in ancient times, just the practice alone, no matter the intention, was definitely considered evil. And then they were associated with magic. So the first question to the audience is, does anyone out there even believe in magic? How many of you in this conversation believe, hey, some magic is real? Let's
absolutely.
We'll start with you, Ken. Let's say a witch told you they were going to cast a spell. Is there any part of your inside that would think, well, what the fuck? What if it works? Like, do you have a fear of, well, what if it does?
Yeah, I have a fear of that, but my instinct is to want to fight it. So,
why the instinct? Where does that
whether
come
it's true
from?
or not, I still want to fight it just in case. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. Once there, and back in an old friend case about magic years ago. She chewed
all at once. God.
Yeah, it moved.
Yeah, here, I'll highlight it. Then it won't move. Once for being a pain and shoving religion in my face about magic is bad, and I turned around and told her, you're a...
She probably meant witch, maybe?
Still typing.
Oh, still typing. Okay.
And Gaffa says yes. Or Portal for it.
He believes in magic?
Hypocrite. Come on. Get up there. Because you have a Disneyland season pass. Disneyland is called the Magic Kingdom.
Well, that's definitely true, but Disneyland,
not quite the same there, Moni.
Yeah, doesn't quite hit the whole idea of witchcraft more as it does fantasy. And there's my next question, because a lot of people actually believe this to be very true. Witchcraft is nothing more than a mental fantasy. Now, that's written in many books, mainly in the early 1900s, when writing the history of, say, the Salem witch trials. And most people don't know this, but King James, who literally wrote the King James version of the Bible, actually had a fear of witches, and he pursued them. And most people do not know that about King James, but it's very accurate. He literally believed,
Is it actually magic, though, Moni?
Yeah, no.
Or is it a show?
I've been to Disneyland. Had fun. Did I see any magic? No. I seen characters that I've never cared for, and this is going to piss people off. I always thought Mickey Mouse was a really, like when he was created, was really a lonely old guy that his only friend was a fucking mouse.
Well, he is a mouse, so why wouldn't he be friends with a mouse?
And then somewhere along, and it's very creative, I'll say that. I'm not like dissing on the guy, right? Obviously, for Mickey, you got Minnie, so now the mouse has to have a girlfriend, but it's very rated G because mysteriously they never had any children.
They just believed in magic, according to Moni. Magic in
Well,
the
I mean,
bedroom.
everybody has beliefs, but now Hollywood picked up on this too because there is a whole lot of witchcraft movies. Most of them, and I said most, not all, but most of them are actually based on a horror movie. Why the horror movie? A lot of people say,
Catholic.
yeah, a lot of people say Wiccan is actually witchcraft. However, is it?
It's considered white witchcraft, white magic.
White meaning good, and then you have black magic meaning bad.
Yeah.
Seems to me like in the term of magic, they kind of used a little bit of racism in there, like
No,
white.
not at all.
No, but I believe they did, but I don't think they meant to. I think what they meant by white magic was during the day, where the evil witches were always out at night. Unfortunately, daytime is not white, and black time or dark nighttime is not black. So, to me, it kind of had a racist ring to it, to me. And I'm not like into all that stuff. I don't believe in racism at all, but I find it funny that white magic is instamatically good and then black magic is instamatically bad. But what's the most feared witchcraft of them all? In today's modern world, can anybody in the chat guess what is the most feared form of witchcraft today?
I can't think of the name of it. Not Buddhism. Fucking.
I'll give you all a minute.
I can't think of the name of it. I know it, but I can't think of it.
In modern day society,
Yep.
Even to this day, is still feared.
Okay, Moni, what they call white magic is not actually magic.
Narcissism. No, because there's a lot of narcissists out there anyway. Voodoo. That's correct. Voodoo. That is the one.
That's the one I couldn't think of. I knew exactly what I was talking about, but I couldn't think of the name.
So how does one form of magic survive centuries of literally being disproven that there's really actually nothing to it, but yet one stood out? One survived the test of time. And it's really the only one that did. That's voodoo. What makes that different from all the rest?
I don't know. It's supposed to be darker or something.
Well, considering that you live in Australia, Buff, I know why you guys don't fear anything. You guys got the deadliest animals in the world. You and Africa, Australia and Africa, the two continents have the most deadliest animals ever seen. But why voodoo? Why is that the only one that has survived the test of time? If you say you're Wiccan today, what do they call it, Ken? If I told you I'm a Wiccan, what would you take that as?
That you're a Wiccan.
Yeah, but would you consider that witchcraft or something else?
That depends on who you're asking.
True.
Moni would say it's witchcraft, but they do spells and stuff, but it's all positive energy.
Positive energy, true, and most people would literally answer it this way. It's a religion. And it's because the way Wiccan is practiced today, it literally is much like a Catholic or a Christian, it's literally a religion, but not voodoo. Voodoo stands all out by itself.
There's a
Different.
lot of movies out about voodoo too, though.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of it.
So here's a fair question. Does anybody in the audience think voodoo could be real?
Well, sure, could be. Don't know anything about it.
Well, what about you? But do you think it is real? Is there something to it?
I don't know enough about it to even answer that question, but why take a chance? Sure, it's real.
I go along with a 50-50 on this, and here's why. Because it's the only one to survive all this time. It's just as old as witchcraft, but it's still feared. And like it wasn't just feared a few thousand years ago. Fuck, it's feared even now.
Gamer says, have you ever tried the Hebrew version? Voodoo?
Never heard of a Hebrew version of that, but okay.
It's a joke.
Yeah, I know. So, does anybody know what country voodoo even originated in?
I think that was Africa.
Yes, it was. And before it became known as a form of witchcraft, voodoo itself was also a form of, and you guys are going to love this, but it's very much true. Google it, read it. It was originally a form of religion.
Yeah, it still is.
Yes, but a very dark one. So it's not to say they're looking for the devil, right? It's not it. Whatever voodoo worships, there's not really a clear answer for that. But it was definitely originally considered a religion. A voodoo. Well, if voodoo are related to feet, it has to do with you probably have very foul foot odor. Which means take a bath, man.
A syncretic religion?
So has anybody here in the audience ever read a book on voodoo? I'm sure
I was going to, I didn't.
I'm sure we've all seen movies. I mean, I have. I've seen many movies wrapped around voodoo.
One of the scariest movies I ever saw was Voodoo Witch, I think it was called. And it was a very low budget movie, but they had ways of scaring the shit out of you.
Well, it's the things that they proclaim they can do. And I'm going to put it that way because there is no evidence that they can. Having said that, there's actually no evidence that they can't either. So it's kind of really in the air. But these people apparently can create a spell that can put a snake inside your stomach, make you sick. They can summon demons and make them follow you around.
So did Mr. Crowley. He claimed a lot of shit like that too.
Well, Ozzy done passed away. I ought to ask Ozzy about Mr. Crowley.
You don't know who Mr. Crowley is?
In real life, no, but I do know that was a song.
In real life, he was and that's who Ozzy was singing about was Mr. Crowley, the leader of black magic. Leader of Satanism, actually.
Well, Satanism itself is a religion.
Yeah, and he believed that he could do hoaxes and spells and make shit appear in your stomach, and yeah.
Well, that's actually because Satanism is actually a religion and considered a form of witchcraft.
Right.
Satanism would be your second scariest one that survived the test of time. But nobody really discusses the witchcraft in Satanism, primarily one, because of voodoo, and because the minute you say Satanism, we automatically see Satan as evil, right? Automatically.
Sure.
If you have any religion in you, you got God, you got Satan, or the devil, whatever you want to call him. So
Right.
one's good, the other one's bad. And for some strange reason, even though it does have witchcraft in it and a shit ton of it, that part gets overlooked because now you're not looking for witchcraft. You're literally looking for the devil to show up. Yes, it does. That is accurate, Boof.
Well, did you see what Awesome Epic said?
Wait a minute. Voodoo is crazy recipes and chants. So you
I
just
got
need
it highlighted
ingredients.
for you to read. Watch American
Watched American Horror
Story.
Story. They had a lot to do with witches and voodoo. Yeah, they did. I've watched, I think, the first 6 seasons of that. I haven't watched the one since.
Voodoo is crazy recipes and chants. So you just need ingredients. Well,
I don't know if I go
they
along
have
with
a lot of
that.
beliefs. Yeah.
You have to, according to them, and I know
It's
that's
almost like you're cooking for Satan anyway. But they don't
Yeah.
believe in Satan, do they?
No, they don't. But I can't say it would be as simple as that anyway, because according to them, you have to be so close or something. There's something they have to do in order to even obtain the power of voodoo. Like they have priests too. So, and they have
Right.
that because they are or were originally like a form of religion, which didn't make a lot of sense because of what they practiced. So
Satanism is not witchcraft. Get it correct, Hawks. Stop spreading false news. Satanism is religion of the worship of Satan, like Christianity. No magic involved.
that's where you're wrong, Boof. In Satanism, there is definitely magic involved. In fact, most satanic priests believe they can cast spells. They literally believe that they can create the immaculate conception. So there's definitely what you would consider black magic involved in Satanism.
But there's also, like I was talking to you the other day about Satanism, there's also the belief, Satanists believe, that there's no God, no devil. They just did it to give a middle finger to the Catholic Church.
In some sectors, yes.
And then there's also some that believe Satan is the God of earth and God himself is the God of the universe. So you answer to one before you move on to the other.
Yeah.
And neither one of them are pure evil or pure good.
Well, okay, you have what you would call true Satanists. But when you get into that realm, right, we don't know, right, what's true or what's not. You have about 8 or 9 different versions of Satanism, just as you do with religion itself. I mean, well, you got Mormons and Catholics and Christians, and of course, then you got the Jewish community, and then you got Mormon. I mean, you just got so many different religions out there. Baptist, Southern Baptist, which separate themselves from the Baptist. You got Coptic Christians. But Satanism is much the same. You have so many different forms. The one that we pay attention to the most is the one that says, hey, I believe that it's better to burn in hell and have fun than it is to go to heaven and have all these rules. And then you got others they're just evil people, right? They just want to do bad things. And so they follow Satanism. And some of them, they're just, bad intention. They don't follow any religion at all. The religion we use to cover those that believe nothing, well, we call them atheists. They don't believe in heaven or hell or God or Jesus or anything to that effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is argumentative. But we're not looking for the argument. We're looking for the history of how witchcraft became what it's known as today. Did
A
religion
lot of
play a
things got
role? Well, of
bottled
course it
together.
did.
A lot of things got bottled together and all called witchcraft. That's
Oh, yeah, it did. You
even
can't even
shit that
discuss,
wasn't even witchcraft got bottled into it.
yeah, you can't even discuss a Ouija board without throwing in religion because religion literally banned it, which
Yep.
was odd because when you went to the period of after World War II, no one really cared. There was no conversation about a Ouija board. It was advertised, and a lot of people bought into it. Yeah, but he wasn't around in ancient history, and that's the part we're on is the history of it.
Or was he?
Oh, who knows? Well, then you got to get into reincarnation, and then that again falls under religious belief, and sometimes just in general a person's individual belief. It's the same thing as are we actually living in a simulation, right? This is a conversation people have all the time. You have certain people that believe that as we live today, um, we're like in a computer game, right? Like
And we've never
somebody
been to the
created a
moon
game,
and the earth is flat. Yeah.
and but we're all in the game, and because it's a simulation, you can add to it or take away. Like this person be alive today, and if it's actually a simulation, you can go, oh, well, I want them to die. Boof, they're gone, right? And that could enforce reincarnation because if in fact it was a simulation, you can go, wait a minute, I want to bring that character back. You just simply just have them born again. There you go. Character has now returned. That's very true. There was a lot of different forms in every country.
Oh yeah.
And Africa was primarily voodoo, even in the ancient world. Also, Muslim. They were extremely Muslim. So, yeah. Well, someone messed up your skill points. Uh, skill points? You must be talking about a game.
Yeah, you were talking about a simulation,
Yeah.
like a game. Someone messed
Yeah.
up your skill points. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Is modern tech magic? If you took modern tech today and showed it to somebody in 1900s, yeah, you're doing
Oh, yeah.
witchcraft.
They would. Yeah. You would definitely be accused of something if you had. That's kind of like my theory of like when
You're
people always
talking to
joke
a box.
and they say, I would love to go back in time and see this time period. And then my question would be, would you really?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, but I got different reasons. One, the smell, right? We take baths, we have showers and soap and deodorant and cologne. And a lot of them people
Teenagers
smell
would love
like
to go
ass
back.
crack and BO.
Teenagers would love to go back there because they don't like to shower.
Well, that's possible.
And back
But
then, they believed that if you took a shower or a bath, you're actually washing off protection from germs.
yeah, anybody see Martin Lawrence when he was like when he went back in time as a knight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was funny in a sense, but my mind doesn't work the same as everybody else's. My first thought was one because of the way he was dressed. In that time frame, he would have certainly been arrested for one being that different, and two, his knowledge would have certainly got him in trouble for a little thing again, witchcraft.
Yeah.
Anything other than religion. Hollywood influences. Well, Hollywood's been influencing everything under the sun, including the Ouija board and witchcraft. And so Hollywood has a big, um, but you guys had a belief over there. A friend of mine a long time ago, he was he used to redo turbine um, blade turbine blades. And he literally got sent to Australia for about 3 weeks. And where he was at, they would basically, like, they had something where you looked at him and they considered it a curse. I'm not sure exactly what he was talking about, but he kind of thought that it was a kind of a weird culture because I guess they have something over there called the evil eye, right? That's literally wherever he was in Australia, and I can't remember where he was. That seemed to be a thing. And if it was a thing, how did it become one, Buff? If you're from Australia, even Epic Awesome Adventures, if you guys know anything about this, please kind of spit that out because that in itself kind of lands as a form of witchcraft. It's the belief that you can curse somebody through a
Yeah.
certain look.
In a way, I guess that would be witchcraft, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. To me, if you believe you can curse somebody, right? In modern day society, that would automatically be a form of witchcraft. Just don't mention Snowtown to an Aussie. I don't even know what the hell Snowtown is. I don't know. I don't know if you're being a smartass or you're being serious, Buff. But if you are being serious, what is Snowtown? What is that?
Even if you're not being serious, what is Snowtown?
Yeah. We don't have any such thing here called Snowtown. To us, if you say Snowtown, that town got some snow. Or you got a lot of people doing cocaine.
Right?
But out of curiosity, what is Snowtown? We don't know. I only know about. I can't see that.
Well, according to Google, it's a horror movie. Crime horror movie.
It's a crime horror movie. Okay.
Australian biographical crime drama directed by Justin somebody in his directorial debut and written by what the fuck? Doesn't tell you anything about it.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it either. I've never heard of it.
Predator takes his girlfriend's teenage son under his wing and makes him an accomplice in a murder spree.
Well, that's kind of weird. But voodoo, they actually believe they can actually turn you into a zombie. They can actually convince you or make you go do things beyond your own control. Now, here's what's weird for you. The second scariest form of any type of witchcraft, which would be certain forms of Satanism, they don't believe in any of that. But believe it or not, in modern day society, voodoo is considered scarier than Satanism. So how did voodoo become scarier than the one thing that most people fear the most, the devil, right? But voodoo became scarier than even that. How?
I'm going to blame the movies.
In the 1800s, Louisiana was full of voodoo. In fact, they still say to this day, there's a woman down there, I can't think of her name anymore, but she's actually in the history books. They say if you go to her grave, that grave is haunted. And she can still exercise her voodoo powers from the other side of life. Is there any truth to it? Does anybody in the audience believe that this woman, although passed away, can still exercise her power if you go to her grave and talk to her? Well, you can. Would you risk it?
Probably.
If I told you to go to her grave and let's say piss her off just to see if she could get vengeance, would you go do it?
Not go piss her off. I'd go to try and talk to her.
And what would you do if she responded? I mean, how as people could we possibly respond to that?
Say hello back.
No, you would freak out. Think about that for a moment, Ken. When we were talking about the Ouija board, you had said you put your hands in a circle, right? You hadn't touched the Ouija board yet, but right before you were supposed to touch the Ouija board, you got freaked out and said, nah. So you never actually touched it. So how can a Ouija board put you into that position, but voodoo
I was
doesn't?
11 years old.
Well, personally,
I've
but
lived a lot of life since 11.
I wouldn't do it. And my reason for not doing it, it would be because it's the unknown. Like I could sit here and go, this is all bullshit and not true. Right? Now, if
I never said that. I wouldn't go piss her off. I would go to have a conversation.
Oh, well,
that's what I said.
I wasn't referring to you. I'm referring to my own personal belief. And
Right.
To me, here's my question to everybody in the audience, because we really don't know, right? There are so many unknown things, so many things we discover all the time. What if there was something to it, right? And everybody jokingly went to go piss on her grave, as you said. And I get it, you're being a smartass. I understand that. But now let's say there was some truth to it. I mean, what then?
Then everybody will be pissing on her grave because they're going to be pissing their pants.
Yeah, something. For years and years, and I said this last Sunday, I never believed in ghosts when I was young. To me, if you told me one, I would have looked at you like, yeah, okay. And I'd have just kept on walking. But whether anybody believes me or not doesn't matter to me. I actually saw a ghost, and it wasn't scary. I don't want to confuse anybody and make them think, oh my God, I shit my pants and I was running down the hallway screaming. Not at all. In fact, to be perfectly honest, it wasn't scary at all. It wasn't. Oh no. Don't you even do that 777. And I'm not even on my channel, Loki, so you can't do that. But it changed my perception. Whereas, like one day I didn't believe in it at all. I laughed at people that would tell these stories. And then the very next day after this happened to me, I'm literally sitting there thinking, Jesus, were any of them stories I was told in the past true? And I literally did this in my own mind, because I didn't believe any of them. I just shook my head like, nah, and just kept on moving. But then once you experience it, once you see it, you either deny what you saw or you have to stop and pause and go, well, fuck, how much of this is real and how much of it isn't? And that's where I'm at today. How much of this is real versus how many is just a campfire story that's got people scared shitless, but there's no truth to it. And voodoo leaves a good example. Is this woman in Louisiana, this voodoo queen, right? Is there anything to her? So how many of you would take that challenge and go talk to this woman at her grave? If you're in the audience, how many of you would go to visit this voodoo queen's grave, who they say can still practice voodoo from the other side? How many of you would risk it? Would anybody in the audience be willing to go there and take that challenge? As in all life, denial is always the best option. I would agree that in some cases, but is it? let's say that it is real and you just deny it, yet something happens to you and now you can't deny it. What then? Because denial is not always, oh, you would, or I believe you probably would, Buff. What about anybody else? Would you guys be
Hold on
willing?
a sec. Hold on a sec. Thank you very much, Awesome Epic. It doesn't make him jump here, but thank you for the donation.
And don't tell him that. He could pop up in my stream and then scare the fucking shit out of me like Okie does.
I'm gonna set shit like that up through Gaffa. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, that will make you jump. It doesn't give you a warning at all. It's just, it's there. I about fall out of my damn chairs. Oh, fuck.
That's because there is a delay between chat and you. That's why. And I'd be right with you, Gaffa. I'd go right with you.
Okay,
I'm not going to piss off anybody. I wouldn't go to piss off a little old lady grandma at her grave, but I'd go visit.
Okay, but why? What's your reason for not going to a grave to test the theory by pissing it off? Is there a reason you wouldn't be willing to go piss it off?
Yeah, because I wouldn't purposely go piss off a normal human being.
Yeah, but this person's deceased. Or is it more in line with you think something literally could happen?
Well, it could, but that's not the reason. The reason is because I don't want to be that guy.
You don't want to be disrespectful, and that makes sense. I get that too. You don't believe in voodoo. I don't know if I believe in it or not. It's got so many cross stories. Some of it I definitely don't believe. I don't believe they can. I mean, I think if you gave somebody the right set of drugs, you can make anybody walk around like a zombie. That's not hard to do.
There's actually a sickness called the zombie disease.
Yeah. Other things.
Based out of Africa.
Other things I've questioned throughout my life, like a certain spell puts a snake in your stomach. Well, unless they swallowed the snake whole, how the fuck did they get a snake in your stomach? So it's some things to me, despite that they are widespread, very much feared, even in today's modern world, I flat out don't believe at all. I won't make any bones about it. I don't believe that you can like make a voodoo doll, stick it with a needle, and I'm going to feel it. I don't believe that either. If that was true, we'd all have one, wouldn't we? We all got somebody we get mad at.
Right there said it. I think Bordeaux Fart said it right there. I think believing adds power. And that's 110% true. If you don't believe in nothing, they have no power over you. But if you fear it, now all of a sudden it's true.
Yeah, and I think he's touched on something that I think is very important, because I think that's what happened to you with the whole Ouija board thing.
Right.
Is because if you're programmed to believe it, because we're all raised as children and our parents always put certain beliefs in us, whether we want to admit it or not, they do. The question is that belief true, or is that belief superstition? When I was a kid, my aunt told me that she had found an old violin in not a basement. What would you call that? A cellar, I guess, right? Had no strings. It was old, but she took it upstairs and she went to clean it, and something pulled her hair. So she had taken the thing and put it back down in the cellar. Now, as a kid, I never believed her. I literally thought, yep, you're fucking nuts, right? Because you got to understand, back then I had zero belief in any ghost at all. Never seen one, never heard one. I had been told ghost stories, and I enjoyed the jump scares and all that stuff. To this day, I love horror movies for the jump scare. And I do, unless it makes me fall out of my chair, Okie.
I'm opposite. I get intrigued by the stories. I want to hear more.
I don't get intrigued by the movies, but when you watch shows like The Haunted, I literally study them
We're
because,
talking about your aunt.
oh, my aunt, no, well, back then I was young and I had no interest in studying it. I was listening to her because
And
she was,
I would be intrigued in listening to her story rather than just going, "Oh, bullshit."
well, I was intrigued
I
in the
was
beginning
that way.
because she was telling this story to my mother. But by the time
Mhm.
she finished it, my whole opinion was I'd have to see it to believe it. Now, I didn't mean I wanted to go down to the cellar, right? I didn't want to go. I did want to see the old violin because to me that would be cool, right? But I just literally didn't believe it. But then once I had my experience, I literally had to go back in my mind to go, well, what if nothing scary happened to me? This is what people got to understand. But it didn't mean that it couldn't happen, right? Awesome made the perfect point. The mind is a very powerful, can create realities that others can't. That's actually very true. I think the belief mechanism in our mind is what triggered. It's the same thing as when you're hunting a ghost. If you convince yourself that a place is haunted before you go and look at it, then isn't every little thing you see or hear going to automatically be a ghost because you're already intensifying the situation in your own mind?
That's possible.
Now, if you
That's
went
a strong possibility.
right. Now, if you went as a neutral person, like, nah, I need evidence, right? I'm not sure I believe. To me, that would be the perfect person to gather evidence because they're not really looking for anything. They're more apt to disprove it than they are to prove it. But if you're someone that definitely, like, I don't think I'd make a good ghost hunter because I've seen one. I don't care who believes me. I don't know why I saw it. I wish I hadn't. If I can take that back, I would, but I can't.
A
Uh,
lot of real true ghost hunters have seen stuff, and that's why they keep searching.
yeah. But isn't that in their
And there are
psyche?
others that do it just for the entertainment, I guess you'd say, for the jump scare.
Right. But if
They
you,
don't actually believe, but yeah.
yeah, but to me, if you actually believed, right, it's already in your psyche. And a lot
Yeah,
of,
but if you go in there as a neutral, even though you've seen a ghost and you believe in ghosts, you still go in there neutral. Not everything is a ghost. I have seen ghosts, but I don't believe everything is a ghost.
yeah, I don't either. I think in 99, I don't even, to my knowledge, never seen a situation where I've seen a ghost be scary or where it can pull your hair or like in some of these other stories where it's throwing plates at you when you walk in your house. Like, oh, the plate starts shaking and then suddenly it throws at you. These, I don't believe in most of your ghost hunters, but I'm going to tell you why. Pretend for a moment, there, Ken, that you and I started a channel, a ghost hunting channel specifically, right? Our first episode is an abandoned building. Now, we don't know if it's haunted or not. We just
Right
want to make a channel. We want to go in there and see what's there. So you go at
now, you're an
nighttime.
exploration channel instead of a ghost hunting channel.
Well, no, because you're literally saying you're looking for ghosts. You're going into that building to see if it is or is not haunted. But see here, this is the part that gets me, and there's two parts to this. One, if you go into there in there at that guy's, if you notice every time they do it, it's always nighttime. Like all of them, they're going to stay the night here, right? And it gets
Yeah.
people's attention. Like, oh, they're going to stay the night there. It's always at night. But then I asked myself a couple of questions. Let's say we did this, Ken, but we didn't find anything. So we're live, we're on the air, we got cameras rolling, and it's just an empty, abandoned old building with maybe a few pieces of garbage in it. We're looking at it. Well, this is this. What time frame is this from, et cetera, et cetera, but nothing happens. No one's going to want to watch it, and they're not going to want to watch it because you didn't find anything.
Well, that depends. There are channels that all they do is exploration.
Yeah.
They're called urban explorers,
Yes. But the minute they
and they're
say
huge channels.
Yeah, but the minute they say looking for ghost, right? Then you get the ghost crew. They're the ones watching you because you said in your title, ghost hunting here.
Yeah, well,
But if you don't give them something to go, oh, they ain't watching it. You found nothing.
that's why a lot of channels that are like that are real small.
Yeah.
They
But the ones that,
they don't get a lot of.
yeah, the ones that create stuff, which is 99% of them, people watch them because they always find something. No matter where they're at, they get an EVP or they'll get an orb or they'll get footsteps walking across the floor or something will get thrown. But in almost every episode, as you watch them, they find something, which leads me to believe a lot of that shit's set up. Like the footsteps are always above them. How do you know there ain't another person in their crew
Or
walking
below.
across that floor?
Or below. I've heard them where they're below too.
Yeah.
Running down the steps and then they look and there's nobody there.
Yeah. But since I've learned how to edit, I've also discovered that I can put those sounds in there. I could do a video, edit it, and make it sound like somebody coming down the stairs at me at the click of a button. Clickbait, exactly. But I think even some of the parts of the show are literally bait. They're just set up. And a lot of them, they've been caught doing it. But you would say no to seconds. Even then.
If you open the possibilities, then possibilities with, I think it's supposed to be, will be experienced.
Well, yeah, I think if you open your mind to it, sure. But the question is, if you opened your mind to it, is it now a real experience? Or is it because you opened your mind to it that caused the experience in the first place?
That depends. If you have a skeptic with you and both of you experienced it, no, it's no longer just in your mind.
As for me, awesome epic adventures, I probably would play with a Ouija board because I never had an experience with it. It doesn't scare me. Now, if Ken still has it in his mind today that he has some fear of it, I doubt very seriously that he would join me in that. Because that would still somehow enter his mindset.
It still enters my mindset, but I don't know that I'd have that amount of fear. Other than, you're not supposed to play with stuff like that and not supposed to talk to spirits and yeah.
Yeah, but see, to me, and I could be wrong, but to me, that's nothing more than upbringing. Right? Like in your childhood, this is what you were taught. Don't play with it. And welcome back, Monique. And this is why. Whereas in my childhood, it was my mom. And honestly, I'm not trying to insult my mom, but I think it was a mental thing. Like she really needed to speak to whoever the hell it was that was dead she was talking to. Right. But I think she was moving the thing herself. And to her, that maybe it gave her relief. I don't know. Right. But as a kid, we played with it. We didn't have any second thought because, mom's doing it. So why not? The thing is it didn't do shit and we were moving it and we knew we were moving it. So, I think the ghost made me, well, Loki, I don't believe ghosts can have sex. Just saying. It's kind of hard to do that if you don't have a Winky or a JJ to do it with. I mean, basically you're dead, and if there is ghost, you would be a spirit, so you wouldn't have a body. I don't think that would even be a possibility, right? We had that conversation last week anyway, that movie they made, what the hell was that fucking movie? The Entity, where the girl was being raped in her bed and in the shower consistently. And they say that's based on a true story, but I don't believe it at all. Looking at the mirror in the dark, The Bloody Mary syndrome. Anybody remember that game as a kid? You had to close your eyes, look in the mirror, say Bloody Mary 3 times, and when you open your eyes, she would appear.
And I used to scare the shit out of people doing that because I'd take them into the bathroom, do that, have them do the Bloody Mary thing
Yeah.
with their nose real close to the mirror, and then I'd scream in their ear, and then. But I was an asshole though. So.
But they say everything.
Oh, that's what Moni was talking about. You might think. What scares me the most, you might think I'm odd. Uh, staring into a mirror in the dark. Looking into a mirror in the dark.
But why does that scare you? So see that again, to me, that's psychological. So
yep.
Well, that's the question, Ogie. Are these stories real or are they not real? Like as far as what a ghost can do, right? Well, what's the story if a ghost walks into a room? One, the temperature drops. It gets colder. That's one big thing they all say. Oh, look at the temperature fluctuate. The other is you can detect their energy by EMFs, right? So they get that thing out and then it beeps. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not.
Well, you know what that is? You know what that tool was originally made for?
Well, yeah, that's for electronic magnetic force.
Yeah, but it was originally meant to find electric lines in the wall. So you can hold it against the wall, and it'll beep when you go across an electric line, and it'll do the same thing.
Yeah,
with a line underground.
True. So and
that's what they're for.
Yeah, and a lot of times when they use them, they're in a house with electricity. Now, I would, yeah, and I would pay more attention to it if you use one, but there was no electricity, right? There's no power around you because even if you're outside and you're near a power line, it will go off.
I watch this one group, and they go into a house. There's electricity, but the first thing they do is walk around the house and get base readings. Okay, it's about a 1.4 here, a 2.5 here, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then if it varies from that in that exact spot, they write down notes which room, what wall, blah blah blah, and then even in the center of the room, how much EMF there is. And there's EMF in the air, whether there is electric lines or not, because Earth is magnetic. So,
but
anyway, but they go in and they test it, and then if it varies from that, and then they have different things that they do, and then yeah.
But which one would scare you most with a Ouija board? Would you be more amped to use a Ouija board in a house or at a cemetery?
Probably cemetery, because nobody would see me. Now, using a Ouija board is more like, it's stupid fuckers using a Ouija board.
Yeah, it is. And that's kind of my whole feeling whenever I see it, especially on ghost hunting. So it's like, yeah, right. So you got EVPs and you got EMFs and you got, EVPs and EMPs. I feel like that
with the spirit box.
Yeah.
The whole fucking radio that scrolls on its own. Oh, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
they specifically made that for ghost hunters, and now it does what? Yeah.
Well, here's something that I did, and I did it as a joke, right? It's been several years ago. I used to live in Harrisburg on a road called Callahan Creek Road. And at the end of the road was an old cemetery. And I mean, old enough that the tombstones go all the way back to the 1700s. Not that you could actually read everything on them, but you could certainly get some of the dates on them. They were old. So you had some 17, 18, 1900s. And of course, only a couple that were actually from the past 2000. But it had been there. It's a very old cemetery. But the rumor was the place was fucking haunted. And I went up there to basically scare a couple of the kids that just brought them up there for shits and grins and didn't use nothing but a telephone. And I downloaded an app, EMP, EMF, So I did that, nothing, Then I went to the EVP and asked questions. Now, this is a phone app, mind you, so that's all we had. And
well, EVP, you can just record on a recorder.
Well, yeah, you can do that, but I just used a phone, and I literally downloaded an app for that. So, but the whole
and I just used the recorder on the phone.
So I went up there, and here's irony for you. It was a joke, and it worked. It scared them. The atmosphere. It's a cemetery, and for some strange reason, at nighttime, cemeteries are just naturally fucking scary, right? Just because it's a cemetery and it's dark.
I don't find that to be that way, but
so
I find it peaceful.
Oh hell, when I was a teenager, I used to stay the night in them because my friends would bet me, and I made quite a bit of money doing it. Because it never really bothered me. I wasn't afraid of them. But yeah, as a Halloween thing, yeah, we did it, and it was kind of a joke, and it was fun. So anyway, after we got done with the so-called the electronic voice phenomenon, started taking pictures. Of course, at night.
Sorry.
No, I would not need to undo your zipper. I'd just bite your ear off.
Oh, Moni, what are you talking about? Need one in the Winchester house. Need one what?
Yeah. But anyway, you get back to my story real quick. We went back to the house. Of course, you look at the pictures and you got bugs flying around and they look like orbs. And I'm really playing into this. I'm like, oh, look at all these spirits, Of course, they're not. You know what they are, right? But
orbs and dust.
Yeah, I get to one picture.
Orbs and dust. Bugs and dust.
Yeah, I get to one picture that makes zero sense. None, right? There's a tombstone that had horns on it. Immediately, I'm thinking, how did I miss that tombstone? Literally. Because if it had horns on it, you got to admit it, that's a badass tombstone. You want to go back and see that one. But I'm churching it up. I'm like, I think there's something with horns behind her. Basically, it's a joke. That's what I'm thinking. And then we get to the electronic voice phenomenon. Absolutely nothing. Crickets, basically, except for the part where I jokingly said, do you want to pull her hair? And I shit you not. It said, yes, like a whisper. Now that freaked her out. One of the girls that we took up there was my daughter's friend. And she was just totally freaked out. She's like, play that back, play that back, play that back. I must have played that thing back about 50 times. Now, later, I looked up the app, and the app could literally put that in there. See what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought, well, that's more than likely fake then if it's on a fucking app because it can put anything in there.
Yeah.
And it was about 3 weeks later that I went back up there. Me and my brother-in-law at the time, we were looking for that fucking tombstone. We wanted to see it. Right? I showed him the picture. I'm like, it's got to be over here somewhere because it was in the background of the picture. I wanted to see it. I wanted to find out who the fuck got a tombstone with fucking horns on it. Because, in all honesty, that sounds like something I would do to fuck with people, Put horns on my tombstone. And we looked all over. We couldn't find it. So, I think it was... I don't know how many times we dug that picture up looking at it. He's like, nah, I can see what you're saying. Well, as it turns out, it was light. There was no horns. And it's not a ghost either, so guys don't get confused, right? It was literally the light shimmering off of it that glared and made it literally look like horns. So, my point is, you got to be careful when you're out there or you think you're ghost hunting. Like, you got to have an open mind and have the willingness to go, okay, this is what this is. If not, you set yourself up for it's automatically. Same thing with a Ouija board to me. If you get on a Ouija board and you already believe someone's going to talk to you, you're going to inadvertently, psychologically, in your own way, move that fucking thing to where it's talking to you. See what I mean? And
Yeah, they call that something. I can't remember what it's called.
yeah, it's like an involuntary movement. Like you're doing it, but you're not even paying attention to the fact that you're the one doing it. To me, it makes me question if the human psyche has the ability to do this, then how much paranormal is not even really paranormal at all? It's the same thing with witchcraft. Before they executed all these witches, what real evidence did they have? Any?
A lot of them, no. There was even a story in Salem. 2 little girls were mad at their mom, so they got her killed.
Yeah.
Said that she was practicing witchcraft.
Yeah. So when you reveal, like you review the actual history of witchcraft, the first thing you find is there was no undisputable evidence. I mean, literally none. Yet these people were killed. So, has anybody in the chat ever seen anyone cast a spell that you thought could be real? Did anyone ever try to cast a spell that you've known, met, or talked to that you literally believed, yeah, that could have worked? Because in my life experience, that I've never seen. Even a warlock. A warlock was what? There was a male witch, right?
Yep.
Cemeteries are less scary when you're afraid. Well, that's true, but that's the one thing I would never do. I have many reasons for that. How many people have a superstition that if you steal something from a grave, you could be haunted? Is anybody in chat?
So that goes.
Do you believe that, Ken? Like if you dug up someone's grave and took something out of it, that you could, in fact, now be haunted?
No. But that superstition also goes with breaking into somebody's house and stealing grandma's ring.
Yeah, but they're not dead. Well, unless grandma died, I guess. Then, yeah.
Grandma's dead, and they stole the grandma's ring, and now they're haunted.
Yeah, that would make sense. But to me, most of it lands under superstition, right? Because
it does, yeah.
Well, and I'd say that for a reason too. Anybody remember the early days of medicine when they were using cadavers to, basically examine the human body and learn? When
they still do.
Yeah, when they had a shortage of bodies, they would literally grave rob. But throughout,
they don't grave rob now, but they still do.
Well, yeah, we still do it. But I'm talking about back in the old days when they were short, they would literally steal fucking bodies.
Or no, actually, they would hire somebody to go steal it.
Yeah, but you never heard stories about any of them being haunted, right? Of all the ghost stories you hear, there's one you don't. And when you do hear, it's always second and third. Dairy, it's just down the line.
But something you're forgetting. They hired somebody else to do it. All they're doing is cutting up the body to learn.
True.
They didn't take They didn't take nothing from the grave other than the body.
Right, but because of the.
So now maybe the grave robber took all the stuff and now he's haunted.
Maybe.
Never know.
But that leads to my question: how come, if that happened, where's their story? Right. One of the most fascinating things we've ever dealt with since the dawn of man is what happens when we die. Ghost, evil spirits, powerful ghosts, angry ghosts, ghosts that haven't finished whatever their life purpose was.
Ghosts that go and rape Wokey Shuffle.
Well, apparently, according to Oki, he once wanted to blow him, so they might be visiting his house on a regular. They got to be careful what you wish for, Oki. Sometimes you just might get it.
Yeah.
You know. But we live in such an oddball world today. Like no one can honestly say what's real versus what isn't, and
True.
you can't. You could say I don't believe, but you can't prove that it is or even is not real. No one can. Like, if you said to me, Hawks, do you believe in Bigfoot? Well, fuck, I don't know. I've never like ran into one. So as for me, do I leave the possibility open? Sure. But have I had an experience with one? No.
Well, I went out to dinner with one once, but
Yeah, well, Ken, listen,
he was buying.
listen. Just because you dated a hairy Amazon did not classify her as a Bigfoot. It meant that her razor was dull.
She was known as Bigfoot in her tribe. Anyway,
But did she tell you that? Was she like, well, I am part Sasquatch?
and she did have big feet. So
Well, yeah, but that has nothing to do with it. If you date a woman that's 6'9", it stands to reason she has skis for feet.
did you see what Bordeaux Ford said?
No.
I got it highlighted.
How else are you going to fulfill your mad scientist making his own monster fantasy than Hawks? Nah, I'll never do one on Frankenstein because that was just, man, that's just the biggest fantasy fucking book / movie I've ever seen. There ain't a bone in my body believes there's any truth to that at all. None.
I hate to tell you this, Gaffa, but they call it a different name, but there's another name for Bigfoot over in your country too. So it's not just America.
Oh yeah, you guys definitely have your own set of
All
monsters.
over the world, there's even Russia, Germany, um, Norwegians, um, Alaska has their own, Canada
Good.
has their own, Australia has their own. I can't remember what they call each one, but and actually the name Sasquatch came from Native Americans. So
Don't jump the rest of us. Now this is a conversation. Ain't nobody jumping anybody. But your country's not innocent either. Your country has its own fair share.
he said, "Don't lump the rest of us in
Well,
us
I can
with
lump the
them."
entire world into these crazy superstitions because there ain't a country in the world that doesn't have one.
Check out the new Frankenstein movie, Monique.
What new?
Pretty cool.
What new?
I Frankenstein.
I haven't seen that one. I think we're on there, honey. Can we do that later? All right, I'm on mute for a second.
Right. I want to point out that most stories that last through time are typically from people with money. This, the stories from the poor usually don't get remembered or passed on. Bigfoot is not from people with money. Hate to tell you that. And neither is what's the Mothman? That's not from rich people. Annabelle, that's from rich people. We don't have Bigfoot, Yowie, and something maybe, but no Bigfoot. Yeah, they call it a different name. They're all considered to be the same folklore. And if you're asking me if I think Annabelle is real, no. oh, you can't touch it, you can't do this, you can't do that, but they're going to take it on a tour of the United States? Really? If it's that dangerous, why in the fuck are they taking it across the United States? Okay.
Well, that's a fair question because I don't believe in the
And
bad either.
I knew as soon as that guy died that they were going to blame it on that fucking doll. I knew they were going to. I knew it before it even came out on the fucking news. He died. Oh, fuck. Here we go.
Yeah. I mean, to me, a lot.
Epstein Island doesn't have ghost stories. What the fuck?
Well, nobody goes there now. That place is like forbidden ground, right? But there ain't a country on this planet that don't have its own superstition or its own belief. I mean, come on. If you go to Tibet, right?
Mhm.
They are a firm believer, I mean, extreme believers in reincarnation to the point where they literally wait after a person dies and then watches for them to return, the Dalai Lama.
Yep. They searched the town for the new child. No, they're a different creature, like Chupacabra.
I will look at.
nothing even
Hey, Ken,
like Bigfoot. Okay.
you're on your computer, right?
Yep.
Google the Australian version of Bigfoot and give me the name, would you? Because I know Australia has their own version of Bigfoot. I know I can't think of the name, but I've read it. Like you,
Yeah.
I look at everything.
You already gave it away. It's called the Yowie.
Yeah. The Chupacabra, that's a legend here too. Not just in Australia. We have that here as well.
That's in Mexico.
Yep.
Mostly.
Mexico and Texas.
I should say old Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Before United States took over.
But it doesn't mean that they're, it's kind of like the Windwalker, right? Or the Wendigo.
Yeah.
Now, if you go to any Native American tribe, they are scared to death of that. If you talk to your typical average American, we just look at them like, yeah, right.
Yeah, it's called the Yowie.
Yeah. Yeah.
But nothing like the Bigfoot. No, it looks identical to Bigfoot, but it's nothing like Bigfoot. Got it.
Well, no, it's the same thing as the Yeti, which is what a Bigfoot in the fucking winter setting with white fur.
Yep.
But it's the same fucking thing. Now, a lot of people say if you can, it's the same question with the dragon, right? Bigfoot, or what we call Bigfoot, has its own version around the world. So they say everything in fantasy somewhat is based on some parts of reality.
It came from somewhere. Yeah, the story came from somewhere. Yeah. That's what I was saying earlier.
Yeah, and it had to come from somewhere. A lot of people think the dragon originated in China, but we have no way of proving where the story of the dragon even originated from. Because the time frames are all about the same time frame. Every place around the known world had its own version of the dragon. And it's the same thing with Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti, whatever name you want to call it, right? Every country has their own version. Why? I don't know. Hawks thought, what was that? Put up Oki's message. Thought it was called the Frost Claw now. It may be. I don't know. These are things that I don't follow. We're having these conversations for the great, great month of October, better known as Spooktober. Be patient. Oh, wait, was stupid Australian. No, you're not a stupid Australian. But you can't, you can't get out here and go, well, Australia don't do that. Yes, you guys do.
We have imagination. I'm sure our ancestors did too.
That's true. Considering we have no direct evidence of whether or not that creature actually exists. Sasquatch, Bigfoot. And there is none.
Yeti, Yowie.
Yeah. You get all of these pictures, right? Or people claim they're pictures, but how do we know that's not just a person in a suit?
Hey, I got something to say on that one. Have you ever noticed that either the creature that they got the picture from is either really far away, or the picture is so blurry you can't make out shit anyway?
Yeah, that would be part of the problem. And my other question would be, wouldn't you find like DNA evidence somewhere, right? You know, if they're hairy, they leave
And
hair somewhere.
Every DNA evidence that they found, it turns out to be a bear.
Oh, frost call for 7 days to die. Oh yeah, I forgot about that because I ain't that far in the game now. Literally forgot about that, Okie. The one in the snow.
What the fuck?
They say they've changed that now. It's not supposed to look like that now, but it actually looked like a Bigfoot with claws that would throw rocks at you. That's kind of fucked up.
But when I go to mom's.
Are you making tacos still?
Yep.
Okay.
I just gotta kind of step up. You can
Or-
just pick one.
That's good for learn how to use a knife, but don't turn into like Chucky. Don't be running around with because you're a ginger. You could be. We don't know. You might mentally turn into Chucky. You want to come out and play? Ooh,
Chucky's bride.
ooh. Here's one. Ken, how many people
Chucky's bride.
believe that a doll could be haunted? Not like Chucky, right? I didn't say possessed.
A lot
But-
of people.
I Chucky's bride in the room again.
We were
Okay,
talking
how
about
many-
that when you were gone.
What, dolls? Oh yeah, you're talking about Annabelle, but that's totally
Annabelle.
fake. Yeah, that's to me, she's like Chucky, right? A doll that moves around on its own. And Annabelle ain't even no porcelain doll anyway. The original Annabelle is actually a fucking big ass Raggedy Ann doll.
Yep.
Okay, stop treating me like I'm a stupid Australian. Then I'm out. You're not a stupid Australian. There ain't no such thing as a stupid anything. It's just whether or not a person believes or whether they don't.
Well, I was kind of making fun. Okay, they look exactly like a Bigfoot, but they're not Bigfoot. They're called this.
Well, yeah, they got different names for it. Like an Indian they don't call it a Bigfoot. If you're an Indian, they call it a Sasquatch. It's the same thing, though. Like English Americans or what you call Anglo-Saxons, I guess, they're automatically it's a Bigfoot due to the size of the foot. Whereas Indians have always and still to this day refer to it as Sasquatch. Why they do that, I don't know. Yeah, Chucky was all about voodoo. That's correct. Voodoo actually believed they could put spirits into other items. Now, honestly, I don't really believe that either. But has anybody in the audience, do you guys believe that a doll could be haunted? I've seen this on.
Well, I've heard stories about rocking chairs being haunted. So
Well, yeah, but that would be a ghost sitting in it and then it's rocking the chair. But like,
no, the chair itself is supposed to be haunted.
I was watching weird videos, and there's one video where this woman collects Barbies, right? Like the old Barbies from like way back in the day.
Yep.
And she's got it on video. One of the dolls turned its head. Now, that could be real. She could have faked it, although I don't know how you could fake that, right? Because a string ain't just going to turn that Barbie's head. Not even.
No.
And it literally showed the Barbie's head moving. It didn't move much. It just turned. It looked like it would be to my right. Said it turned to the left because it, obviously facing the camera, it's the opposite direction. But either way, it showed it moving. So Monique says maybe. So you're kind of in the middle, huh, Monique? Like
There's different sections.
You call them wildkins. Hey, Ken, you're a Bigfoot in Australia.
Currently.
Hey, they call it a wild Ken. I seen the message.
Back to the shoulder strap. Great handle.
But anybody else, does anybody else in the audience think that a doll could be haunted? Why didn't they make a pregnant Barbie? That's a fair question, Okie. I've always thought they should have made crackhead Barbie, prostitution Barbie.
They had offshoot Barbies, but it was not done by the Barbie company. It was trailer house trash Barbie and crack house Barbie, and they had all kinds of funny shit like that. But I think they just took the normal Barbie and dressed it up different, you know. Hi. Did we forget medication?
You would think kids, like, if that exists, like, you would have had kids everywhere wanting that, because that would be fucking hilarious. I've never seen them, but now that you mention, I'm definitely going to look that
from a different box. Fuck you, Okie.
You know how much that thing is?
They came from the Dibbit box.
Hey, Red.
Ooh, now there's a good one. How many people believe in the debit? I'm glad you mentioned that. How many people how many people believe the debit box is real? I mean, the Jewish community is, firm in that belief.
Gotta give, shake it.
Well, yeah, I know it's a joke. You didn't even say debit box. You said in a different box. But he said,
I said,
he said debit box.
Yeah, I said that. Hi.
And that is something that the Jewish
for their medicine, Mama.
the Jewish community has very, very much belief.
Them off like I do, only one apiece.
$6.
You're right. There you go.
Pretty sure they made disabled and Susan.
What?
Can you just pick that up, please?
Pick what up?
Downsy Barbie? I don't know. I have never seen those. I'm not familiar with them existing at all, but it would make sense that somebody would have made them. That would have been funny. But Jewish.
It was an offshoot company. I think they were taking actual Barbies and then, making them into funny shit like that. Because there was one that you got the trailer house with it, and it was funny as shit.
Oh, he said, Okie says, I believe in the debit box. They call it an ATM.
Called a spinner.
Was never really talked about it. Well, what are you talking about, Moni? You never really talked about it. The debit box? The debit box?
Debit box?
Yeah.
Debit box. Not debit box. It's not an ATM. Debit box.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okie said the same thing. It's not called it. It's not an ATM. It's a debit box. D-Y.
Yeah. A debit box. But Monique, you were saying you never really talked about it. So what is your experience with a debit box?
Stuff are not.
They never talked about it. That's her experience.
Well, yeah, but that means if they never talked about it, they had to experience something in order not to have talked about it. Because that is the one paranormal thing that the Jewish faith to this day firmly believes in.
You know.
I mean, they have nothing in them that will even come close to telling you that's not. They will argue with you left and right and get angry if you tell them it's not true. They have a very strong.
As soon as I take them out, that's when I'm gonna need them.
Dibbicks. Yeah, but what's your experience with it? What happened that you never talked about? Well, let's go here, Monique. One, do you believe that the stories are true? Let's go there. Okay, you're Jewish. I understand that. That's why I'm asking. Do you believe that box is real? Is there really a spirit or a bad spirit that they lock in those boxes? They made movies about them too.
Is are those the ones you can buy off of Amazon? Probably not. No, it would have to be. It would have to be one that would have been used for that purpose, right? You can't just go buy one. Somebody just took a box and made it look like it.
Well, I believe in money.
I've seen people I've seen cigar boxes, and they take it and they put a couple of trinkets in it, and then cover it in wax and do all this weird shit to
Yeah,
it
they seal it.
and make it look like it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's not actually a Dybbuk
No.
box.
I'm talking about the real ones that they've used in a ceremony to put a spirit in. Right? And I believe in money too, especially now that the government ain't quite paying me and I can't even run. So I believe in it more now than I did before. Okay, what did you say? Well, it's why we avoid putting
Wine in boxes because it was considered very haunted.
But why would putting wine in a box make it haunted?
Make the wine.
No, because
I've never.
oh
heard that.
no, because you never seen one. The only thing I know about that box is if they run across what they call an angry or evil spirit, they do something to put it into the box and then they seal it with wax. And then,
Or is that just a story off the internet?
no, that's actually part of their religion. That's not a story. That's actually in there. It's in Judaism. It's actually there. And there is a very, the Catholic religion says exorcism, but in the Jewish community, it's a way of putting the spirit. They put items in there for the spirit to attract them to it. And then they will seal the box. And it's not good to have, apparently you shouldn't keep the box anywhere around, right? And if you open the box, well, you're fucked because you released the spirit. Now they make movies about that. That's a given.
Maybe that's why the company started making boxed wine.
Yeah, maybe.
Because there are spirits in that wine.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm not a wine drinker, at all. Not even cheap wine. To me, it's just got this weird taste to it. I don't. Yeah, that's not for me. Now, my drink of choice is coffee and sweet tea. I don't really have a taste for alcohol at all, not specifically.
I could make you some sweet tea wine, and it tastes just like sweet tea.
Yeah, but the fact that it's alcohol and I don't like changing my mindset, I probably wouldn't drink it. I don't like being drunk.
I didn't like being high, so I understand that terminology.
I don't get high either. Anything that can alter my mindset, I don't care for at all. I don't like things that make me sleepy either because to me it alters with my natural sleep pattern, whatever the fuck that may be.
Even though you never sleep.
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, I know you do.
Right. Well, not like I used to, but
I've just never had any faith or belief in. I don't believe that popping a pill fixes a fucking problem. I don't believe that smoking something fixes a problem. I don't believe in any of that shit. Homemade protein shakes. What? Also loves that homemade protein shake. No, I don't believe in that either, Okie, but I know what you're driving at, and that definitely is not me. But that's okay, Okie. Perhaps you're that weird guy that eats after birth on toast.
Eats Aunt Bertha on toast? What?
No, after birth. So we have discussed Ouija boards. I'm going to give you all my opinion. I think maybe it's possible some stories are true, but I believe most of them are really designed just like everything else to scare the shit out of you. Witchcraft, I don't know. I'm kind of. I don't really want to believe in my mind that magic is real in any way, shape, or form. Because let's say it was. Wouldn't everybody be trying to learn that if that were true? Right? I mean, take you, Ken. If you thought magic was real, wouldn't at some point in your life you would have worked really hard to try to learn that shit?
I don't know. I was raised different to stay away from it. So even magic tricks were known as evil when I was a child.
Honey.
So I don't think so now.
You think
But
or you think I should fix this and some more?
Try one first. I don't know how bad that's going to shrink. Late supper, guys, because we slept in today.
oh,
I didn't sleep really shit last night.
No, but magic, yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying, Ken. That's true. You just asked your grandpa for a better explanation. Dybbuk is like a demon. It's very restless, and they put wine in these boxes to keep the Dybbuk to attach to people, to keep it from attaching to people, cause them to be possessed. So the spirit in there is actually a spirit that could actually possess a human. That kind of makes more sense as to why they would go through what they go through for it. So, anyway, back to what I was saying. I don't believe in witchcraft at all. I am fascinated by the fact that voodoo has survived as long as it has, as far as the fear factor. In a sense that it's even more scarier than what we call Satanism or devil worshiping. So it's like a weird offering. Yeah, because I noticed like a lot of times it doesn't have wine in it, but they put other items in it. A ring sometimes, herbs, spices. I don't quite understand, but I'm not Jewish and I'm not insulting Jewish people. But because I'm not Jewish, I don't understand the items that they put in there or the relativity to the demon they're putting in it. What about you, Ken? If we found a real one, would you have it in your house?
no,
Not-
just out of the
Tomatoes and
kind of like a Ouija board. I wouldn't have one of them in my house either.
onions.
Just out of the pure fact is it could be true.
right.
So why chance it? Why take that chance?
Well, because it would make no sense not to just have one in your house. The Ouija board doesn't work on its own unless you actually use it.
Yeah, but then there's that fat chance that somebody goes, "Oh, a toy," and starts playing with it, and then sets some demon loose.
Well, yeah,
So,
that's the weird history of the Ouija board, is the fact that it literally is sold as a toy/game.
yeah.
I could go to certain stores tomorrow and I will find a version of the Ouija board. I think Walmart actually pulled it. I don't even think you can buy them at Walmart anymore. I think Walmart kind of went to the superstitious side and said, yeah, I don't think we're going to sell that.
No, Walmart didn't go to the superstition side. Too many people were bitching at Walmart saying they're not going to shop there anymore if they don't quit selling.
Yeah, so now they don't.
Millions and millions of Americans said, I'm not shopping at Walmart anymore. We're going to put your business under if you don't stop selling the Ouija board.
So you had basically that many people that believed so much in that story.
Yep.
That they wouldn't even walk into the store. It kind of makes you wonder the validity of it, doesn't it? I mean, kind of in a way. Think about that. How many people would it take to convince a nationwide, even worldwide market to go, okay, we're going to comply, we'll quit selling the shit?
A lot of people.
Yeah. So that would mean that there's a very large amount of people.
Especially somebody like Walmart. Holy fuck.
And it kind of goes down to you. Like, did you have any feelings toward that when Walmart was selling Ouija boards?
Nope.
So it didn't bother you to walk into the store, you go down the game aisle, and, there on the shelf, there's a Ouija board.
No, because to me, it's like a cross-dresser. Let them do what they want. Are you bugging me?
Sometimes it makes me really
Right. So you just walk by it like, yeah, I'm not buying that. And then, you go on. But yet
I
millions.
know they're on Amazon. I seen them. I searched for them the other day
depends
just
on
for
what mood I'm
fun.
in and
We
Yeah.
were talking about searching
my
Ouija boards,
cooking
and
issue is.
yeah,
Yeah. So they're still available. You can still buy them.
I don't think I'd want to buy one from Temu though.
Well,
That'd
probably.
be the half fucking working version of the son bitch, and it'd send some fucking retard to your house.
But let me ask, how many people in the audience would actually buy a Ouija board? How many of you would have one in your house, and how many of you wouldn't? So that's the question to the audience. Would you allow a Ouija board in your house?
Nope. But here's the fucked up part.
That's breaking my
I would allow cards in my house.
You mean tarot cards?
Yep,
That's kind of like a Ouija board to me, though, isn't it?
kinda.
Then what's the
But to
difference?
me, I don't know. It's different to me somehow. I don't know. I grew up different with it.
Well, I believe they might be completely fake. But the question is, would you have one in your house? Heck no. So Monique says, no, I would not have one in my house. Okay, we know Ken would not allow one in his house. To me, I wouldn't give a fuck one way or another. I'm not going to go out and buy one because I'm never going to use it. I did it when I was a kid. I didn't find anything funny about it. I found it boring, actually. So I would never buy one. But if somebody had one, I don't think I would be upset about it. I was just like, yeah, practice that on your own time, Play with it if you want to. I wouldn't give a shit. Just, I'm not going to play with it with you because you're moving the fucking thing and I don't buy that shit. It doesn't
Those
mean,
cards freak me
yeah.
out.
Well, it don't mean that I don't believe in anything. But I don't believe that somehow a ghost is going to look at that board and go, hey, I think I want to talk to that person. What the fuck for? Because in my mind, if I was a ghost, right? And I guess maybe it's the human side of me. My thought would be more like, oh, fuck. If you're eating dinner, my thought's going to be with, oh, I remember the taste of that. Fuck. Oh, I want some, because you can't eat. Or maybe you're having a beer and you're watching a football game. Maybe I want to watch the fucking game, huh?
You can watch, but you can't have any popcorn.
Yeah, exactly. I think those are the things that, as a ghost, you would miss because as a ghost, right? You don't eat, you don't drink. If you were human, you would remember those things, I would assume.
Right.
We're all perverted in our own way. As a ghost, wouldn't you be thinking, oh, man, oh, the good old days. I remember them, Why I don't really understand some of the things I just can't see a ghost going, hey, a Ouija board. I can talk to this fuck. Now, do I believe some ghosts would want to talk to you? Sure, but through a Ouija board, I don't think they would need one. If you have a haunted house, right? And according to people, houses are haunted all the time, not just houses, forests, anything can be fucking haunted. They didn't need a Ouija board before you found out your house was allegedly haunted. Now, did they? In every story, they make themselves known. There was no fucking Ouija board. So I'm going to give y'all my answer on the Ouija board. No, I don't believe in it at all because I've never had or seen an experience that convinced me that there's any real to it. Yes, some people are definitely way more perverted. I'm an intellectual type of guy, so sex life to me is like fourth and fifth down the line, whereas with most people, it's number one. But I'm more intellectual than I am the other. I like the idea of having free thought and to study things on my own and come up with an opinion, even if it's contrary to what everybody else's might be. Like my opinion on ghosts is they're 100% real. Is everybody going to agree with me? No. My opinion on witchcraft is I don't believe in it one bit. I don't believe in magic. Now, on the other hand, it doesn't mean that someone else isn't going to come up to me and go, well, I do believe in it. I don't disrespect them. I like hearing their stories. Why? What if it is real? What if it's true? I don't know it, never seen it, but what if it is? And my last question, how many of you would be willing to stay the night in a cemetery?
Yep, I have.
Did it scare you?
Nope. I was cold though.
You must have stayed the night in the wrong time of year.
It was in the spring. Thought I'd be fine. It was cold.
You said the Ouija boards could be real, but you probably won't be able to find real one anymore.
Okay. And
that's true.
That goes along with my belief that a lot of people believe holy water is real because it's blessed water. I think it's hogwash.
And that could be
all
too.
Goes with the belief of the thing. So saying there ain't no real Ouija boards today, that's not true. It's all in how you use it.
Well, I think what he's talking about is historically speaking, and on the evil side of things, the actual real Ouija boards actually had a rumor to them that they contained virgin blood within them.
Mm.
And Monique, you said you would not spend the night in a cemetery. Is there a reason why you would not spend the night in a cemetery? Alexa said no, she wouldn't either. So what's the reason?
That's it. Fox, me, you, and Alexa are going to the cemetery. And the hockey puck just said, can you clarify that? Because your daughter's name sounds a lot like my hockey puck. Alexa, stop.
But there was supposed to be something to what they called the authentic Ouija board, the real thing. And I think it was virgin blood, actually.
Alexa, stop.
Now, why they would do that, I don't know, because that almost sounds like Satanism in a way. You know what I'm saying? But I guess the Ouija board is definitely attached to Satanism.
Stop.
So that, that would make sense. So if you would be afraid of a Ouija board, let's say like one from Walmart, right? Then would you be more afraid of, say, a hand card one that actually contained virgin blood? Would you? Which one would you be more afraid of?
Neither one. All the same.
So literally the same.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I might be like and actually limestone. That was another belief too. It had to be made out of limestone.
That goes with a belief with spirits.
Yeah.
Use limestone to.
Just creepy to you? Okay. You believe that the real Ouija boards were for witchcraft and would be completely different from those mass product Ouija boards. Yeah, they would be, but I don't know that a Ouija board was ever actually used in witchcraft at all. I think Hollywood kind of threw them in there, but in all the history that I studied, because I love history and I am a history buff, I have never seen a case where witchcraft that didn't twist itself from actual witchcraft even considered a Ouija board or even a spirit board. Now, they do have a nickname for them called a witch board, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was more Hollywood because, like, you're never going to hear the term, even in ancient history, where this was believed to be very true. you will never hear the term witch board. And they were killing fucking so-called witches back then. Ouija board helps me pass when.
£5.20.
Well, if you need more help with that, just eat chili. Not a great gamer. That's what I would do. So, Ken, last question for you, because it's about time that we call it. But this question is for you. If I wanted to go investigate a building to see if it was haunted, would you go?
Yeah, I've done ghost hunting before.
Any
I have ghost hunting equipment.
any experience doing it? Did you have anything that would make you go?
Not doing that. No, I've only had experience in my own houses. How scary is that?
It's different because
I've done ghost hunting, but the only ghosts I've ever experienced are in places that I lived.
So that means that, like, when you did the investigations that you did, you literally basically didn't find anything, basically, right?
Even knowing, like, next door to my house, there was a guy that, how do you say this? Unalived himself.
Committed suicide. Gotcha. I got you.
You can't say that
Oh,
on YouTube.
sorry. Well, took his own
Yeah,
course.
you're not even supposed to say that. But anyway, I don't know all the rules of that, but I know a lot of YouTubers that got like marks against their channel for that.
I don't even know why you would get a mark for that. That's an actual thing. It's not like it don't exist. It does.
Yep. But anyway, he shot himself.
Okay.
Probably not even supposed to say that.
I don't know.
And I actually went and cleaned up the mess. So then, after the guy that was living there with that guy moved out, I asked to go and investigate the house, and I was given green light. So I went and checked it out, and absolutely nothing happened.
Huh.
No voice recordings, no movement, no nothing.
So, how many of you in chat would go on a ghost hunting trip? Yes or no? Would you or would you not go on one of those?
Let's take Moni. She won't even go to the cemetery at night. Let's take Moni to a haunted house at night.
Oh, that would be fun. I could see myself wanting to do it.
Oh yeah, it's actually a lot of fun, and if you go with actual people that go and are doing this professionally, you know, they're not making fun of it. Basically, they're also a bunch of pranksters also. So you're gonna have these idiots jumping out from behind the door and. Yeah.
Well, the weird part about that is because they all have one thing in common. They all claim that, like, at one point in time or another, something followed them home. And that's pretty consistent with every ghost hunter. Like, well, I did this and then this followed me home, or something attached itself to me.
Nothing's ever followed me home. My experiences were, well, the first one was it had to have been there previous from the previous owners or something.
Right, and but could that be real though?
I think this place is from the land, and then my other house was my girlfriend that passed away.
Okay, but you know, but could that? Oh, she said nope. But could that be real? Right, like the stories they tell. Like, okay, I investigated here, something attached itself to me, and now it's in my house.
That is a possibility. And just to let you know the difference between a demon and a ghost, you can see a demon attaches to you.
Well, if you went on a ghost hunt and all you got was chlamydia,
that's a demon.
You probably should have just. Yeah, you could have got a cleaner ghost. That's all I'm going to say. But on that note, guys, it has been 3 hours. Interesting topic. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had fun with it. Still stuck in the middle on some things. I don't believe in magic. I can't really put any faith in a Ouija board, but based on my own experience, because I did play with one of them, and yeah, boring, nothing. Witchcraft. Look, I believe people believe it, but until I see a spell that works, I don't. Voodoo, I'm not going to touch. There's some things about it I don't believe, and then some things I don't know. I got a lot of curiosity about. I don't really have an answer for voodoo because it's kind of one of those more mysterious forms of anything that I've ever read about in my lifetime. It's very different.
See, and how you believe in voodoo is how I believe in like Ouija board.
Looks better than it did. Huh?
Just not gonna go there.
Well,
All right, I agree. This is just more like questions and.
Not sure I believe in it, but I'm just not gonna go there.
Yeah, you have
is actually very relaxing at night, and you don't have to worry about anybody bugging you because everybody's scared of the cemetery.
Yeah, so well, that's why I asked about the cemetery, because for some strange reason, and I do call it strange, a lot of people have this very instinctive fear of a cemetery itself.
They're all dying to get in there.
Well, everybody is eventually. If we go there, some people just get put in a little urn and set on somebody's mantle. So, you know.
I don't want to be in no fucking urn. That's for damn sure. I want to go back in the ground. And it ain't going to be in a cemetery either.
But for everybody, I don't know how many people we got in here. I can't see that information. But to the audience, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation. I did. I hope to see you all next Sunday. And we'll determine what we're going to discuss for the month of Spooktober. I'm thinking maybe aliens and UFOs, Ken.
Nah. That can be for any month.
Okay.
We'll think of something else. We'll think of something between you and me.
I got it. Demons and possession.
Bullshit. Oh, wait. Did I say it out loud?
Yeah. Let's do demons and possession. What, they got like 100 different demons nowadays? Jesus, which one's the scariest? We'll save that for next week. I don't want to get to that now. It'll rain next week. But on that note, guys, I'm Sheriff Hawks. And your host is the Redneck Connection.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you coming by. Hope you all had fun. Sorry Gaffa got upset at me. But
on that note, I'm out of here, guys. See you next week.
Oh, do we play the outro song?
Oh, yeah.
The song?
Yeah, go ahead and play it. Play it.
We'll play yours first.
All righty.
Out in the dark where the pixels bite, Sheriff Hawks rides deep into the night. Zombies moan and shadows grow. He's laughing through the fear and shooting them all.
Lock, load, and laugh at the fear. Grab your snacks, the sheriff's here. From spooky screams to outlaw talk.
Welcome to the wild world of Sheriff Hawk.
Justice served. One jump scare at a time. Justice served.
One jump scare at a time.
And now my outro. Why is it skipping like that?
drink and sit back. You found all the rednecks. This is the place where it's at. Step into my darkness. 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 Step into the darkness where the rednecks all reside. Don't be afraid of nothing, you're all welcome inside. Step into my darkness. Step into my darkness. Grab a drink and sit back.
One real quick comment to Monique. We did review of scary movies 2 weeks ago.
Yep, and each time we do an episode, we always talk about movies in reference to the story. So movies are always going to be in there because Hollywood seems to play a big, big role in anything paranormal. But
Yeah, paranormal or religion.
I'm going to say goodbye, Ken, and let you do the close.
All right, I'm closing. Thanks everybody for coming in. Appreciate you. See you on the next one.
Hey.
Stay redneck.